Division and the Chicago Blackhawks, champions of the Norris Division, begin their series for the Clarence Campbell Bowl tonight. Chicago, after finishing fourth, eliminated the Detroit Red Wings in 6 games. A big shock to Red Wing fans and especially to coach Jacques Demers. And then they disposed of the St. Louis Blues in 5, winning in St. Louis as Alain Chevrier, the Chicago goaltender, got locked up in a great battle with the Blues netminder Greg Millen. Calgary, with the NHL's best regular season record, was pushed to overtime in the opening series by the Vancouver Canucks. And then they swept by Wayne Gretzky and the Los Angeles Kings in 4 straight games. The city of Calgary, Alberta, hosts the first 2 games in this best-of-7 series to decide the winner of the Clarence Campbell Bowl and a berth in the Stanley Cup Final. Game 1 is coming up next, exclusively on Sports Channel. Both coaches, Mike Keenan and Terry Crisp, have had time to prepare for a series that almost didn't come about for either team. The Chicago Blackhawks made the playoffs in overtime in the final game of the regular season. A Toronto win and Chicago's out. But the Leafs gave the puck away and Troy Murray put it in and Chicago went to postseason play. And then in the opening series against Vancouver in overtime, goaltender Mike Vernon stopped Stan Smeal, kept the Calgary hopes alive. They go on to win and thus meet tonight Chicago and Calgary in Game 1 of the Clarence Campbell Conference Championships. Hi everyone, I'm Jakes McDonald. Herb Brooks will be joining me here at the Olympic Saddle Dome for a series, as we said, that almost didn't come about. 20,000 plus fans have been waiting for this series. The Chicago Blackhawks are here on the strength of having defeated Detroit and also the St. Louis Blues after just barely squeaking into the playoffs. Calgary, as you know, had the best regular season record, so on paper, it's a bit of a mismatch. The number 1 team in the league against the 16th place team in the league. But Chicago used the entire 80-game schedule to get their game together, and you have to compliment them. They made some outstanding trades that has really been the difference down the stretch. And here with his thoughts on this series between the Blackhawks and the Flames, our Herb Brooks.
Well, it's going to be an interesting series. There's some key points that each club has and must exploit. Calgary, I love their depth. Terry Crisp can use the bench. And what I like about their depth is 4 good center icemen in the Gilmore, Nieuwendyk, Otto, and Fleury's. And if that fails, they've got a good defensive core. And if that fails, they've got a goalkeeper that's somewhat maligned, but Mike Vernon can play. His stats are up there with the best of them. Also, I like their power play. That's going to be a key thing for them. On the other side of the coin, let's take a look at Chicago. 3 key things for Chicago. Number 1, Dennis Savard. This guy can light it up. He can go end to end. One of the most electrifying players in the National Hockey League. Then also, they've got a guy that they really depend upon, Alain Chevrier. When he plays, Chicago is very competitive. Also, their penalty-killing team is outstanding. During the regular season, they struggled. But in the playoffs, they're as good as you're going to see in the National Hockey League.
The Calgary Flames and the Chicago Blackhawks have met once before in the playoffs. It was the opening round of 1981. This Olympic Saddle Dome hadn't been built, and the first 2 games were played across the street in the Stampede Corral with a seating capacity of 7,000. Calgary won both games here, went into Chicago and swept the series in 3 straight. And now here they are meeting again in the spring of 1989, the winner to receive the Clarence Campbell Bowl. Coming up, an update on all the day's happenings from Sports Nightly, and we'll return to the Olympic Saddle Dome for Game 1 of the Clarence Campbell Conference Championships after we pause for these messages.
The 1989 Stanley Cup Playoffs on Sports Channel. Brought to you by Mercury, celebrating its 50th year. By Citicorp, because Americans want to succeed, not just survive. By MasterCard, you can count on MasterCard to master the moment. By Kodacolor Gold Film, show your true colors. And by First Brands Corporation, makers of STP's Son of a Gun Protectant. Son of a Gun, what a difference.
move into select Mercury models and get 2.9 annual percentage rate financing. Or get $1,000 cash back on Mercury Tracer, $750 cash back on Sable, or $600 cash back on Mercury Topaz and Mercury Cougar LS. Make the move. See your Lincoln Mercury dealer today.
Sports Channel is more than the exclusive national carrier of the Stanley Cup playoffs. It's the Sports Channel Pro Boxing Tour, the World Basketball League, the Ladies Pro Bowlers Tour, exciting amateur baseball featuring Team USA, thoroughbred horse racing, and more. Sports Channel, prime time sports, 7 nights a week. The 1989 Stanley Cup playoffs, brought to you by Budweiser. Beechwood aged for that clean, crisp taste. This Bud's for you.
For taking charge, for taking pride, for showing what you got inside, for taking time, for staying true, for stepping in, for coming through. This Bud for you.
Beechwood aged for the taste so crisp and clean, so refreshing. It's the king of beers.
This Bud for you.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Sports Channel Studios, New York. I'm Lee Zeidman, along with Hartford Whalers goaltender Mike Liut. When last the Flames played, they clinched a sweep over Los Angeles, a sweep that apparently cost Kings coach Robbie Ftorek his job. The man who led Los Angeles to the third-best record in franchise history was unceremoniously fired just a few hours ago. GM Rogi Vachon said Ftorek was not the right guy for the team at the moment, announcing the young coach's contract would not be renewed. Mike Vachon said that this was a teaching coach who couldn't handle a veteran club.
Well, I played with Robbie in Cincinnati, and he was a teacher, a student of the game. When you have a player like Wayne Gretzky, or when you have Wayne Gretzky, you don't have to teach all that much. Wayne has a style onto himself, and he's the player that you have to center your team around.
So Ftorek does not even finish 2 full seasons as head coach of the Kings. They said they'll compile a list of coaching candidates over the next few weeks, hoping to make a hire before the mid-June draft. Meanwhile, in Washington, Capitals coach Brian Murray received a 2-year contract extension, ending speculation that his job was in jeopardy. Mike and I will be here between periods with news and insights. Right now, we prepare for face-off at the Olympic Saddledome, Game 1 of the Campbell Conference Championship Series, the first-place club in the NHL against the 16th place team. Let's go back to the Saddledome for introduction of players.
Thank you, Lee. The introductions have just about been completed. The Chicago Blackhawks introduced first, and they're winding down now with the starting lineup for the Calgary Flames. We look at Doug Gilmour, the hero of the series against the Los Angeles Kings. And that's been Rob Ramage and the entire 20 players of the Calgary club, and now the coaching staff to be introduced. You can see the Olympic Saddledome in virtual darkness, but there's been a bright light. Coach Terry Crisp, his assistants Doug Risebrough and Tom Watt, as the Calgary Flames get ready to meet the Chicago Blackhawks in Game 1 of the Campbell Conference Championship. This crowd of 20,000 plus has been standing for at least the past 5 minutes. A polite round of applause as each of the Blackhawks were introduced. And then they revved it up. That's one of the things that the newspapers have been talking about here. This series will be a battle of the crowds. You know that Chicago Stadium will be rocking when the series moves there on Saturday. They're hoping that the Olympic Saddledome will be the same. And now, for the introduction of the national anthems to be sung tonight by Mr. Stan Foster, so the crowd remains on its feet and now becomes quiet for these renditions.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, did prove through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave. Oh, Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all thy sons command. With glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true, most strong and free. From far and wide, oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. Oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
That was Stan Foster singing both the Canadian and American national anthems. And the game now goes to the hands of a senior referee, Dave Newell, to be joined by Wayne Bonney and Swede Knox as the linesmen. The off-ice officials are from Winnipeg. And the key matchup in the series, of course, will be goaltending, as we have said so many times in playoff competition. No surprise, it'll be Chevrier and Vernon, the respective goalkeepers who have carried their teams thus far in the playoffs. There you look at the veteran Dave Newell. Any veteran observers saying that this will be his final season. And how about what the Chicago Blackhawks did? One of about 6 or 7 deals this year, acquiring Alain Chevrier, who now calls himself Alain, for a 6th-round draft pick. He has been sensational in the nets for the Chicago Blackhawks, and you can't overlook the goaltending of this man. Mike Vernon, 26 years of age, 5'9", 170 pounds, 2.51 goals against average. That's even better than his regular season average when he won 37 games at a 2.65 goals against. Calgary in the white uniforms, defending the zone to the left. The red-clad Chicago Blackhawks, the zone to the right. The Blackhawks arrived here in Calgary about 5 o'clock yesterday, had a full-scale practice this morning at the Olympic Saddle Dome. The Flames, on the other hand, had a full-scale practice yesterday, and only a couple people skated this morning. The crowd getting into it early, Herb.
When you look at Chicago's red sweaters and the red sweaters to the crowd, you wonder who's home and who's away.
Dave Newell taking a little time as you watch from overhead. Joel Otto was set for the face-off. Troy Murray backs out, now moves in. A battle for the puck won by Calgary. Merson playing it back to McGinnis. Troy Murray moves up to forecheck. McGinnis tried the right wing boards, and it's loose in the Chicago zone. That's Manson back. Moved it around to the left side, held in by Merson. Poplinski got bumped off the puck. Bob Murray for Chicago gets it to the line. Lanny McDonald held it in there. And now Poplinski dumps it deeper in toward the corner. Picked up by Manson. Manson working one side of the defense, Bob Murray the other. And Chicago bottled up in their own end. There's McDonald trying to center. Loose puck for the penalty call. Referee Dave Newell, only 34 seconds into the game, spotting an interference situation. And Calgary will be penalized as the captain, Jim Poplinski, goes to the penalty box.
Jakes, in the first minute of play here, you're going to see that Calgary really likes to activate their defensemen. They like to pinch down. And how Chicago takes that away from Calgary is going to be a very important thing. They might have to delay somebody. They might have to sneak somebody out of their defensive zone to pull the Calgary defense out of there. But if they don't do that, and the way that Calgary's a very intelligent, persistent, big, strong, forechecking team, it's going to cause some problems.
Gary Crisp, knowing that Chicago has put the power play to good advantage in the playoffs, they've seen it jump to a 22% efficiency rating. And they get the man advantage here as Poplinski is off for interference, and Bob Murray lugs the puck out. Murray dances over the Calgary line, drops it back to the right side. Here's Adam Creighton. Creighton feeds the blue line. Larmer centered one wide of the net. Savard in after it. Eddie Savard puts it on target. It's covered now by Vernon, and there's no further play. A look at Mike Keenan, the Chicago coach. He's been to the playoffs before. And the Chicago bench, 31 players on hand. What you're seeing, the Keenan clock. Play stoppages. Chicago likes to do a lot of jockeying, bench jockeying, if you will, and we put a clock on the coach. We'll call it the Keenan clock. See what he'll do to stall play and just how long it takes. Didn't do much here, only about 24 seconds between the play stoppage and the time the puck was dropped, and Patterson slams it down the ice. Mike is aware of the clock, by the way. Said to our producer, what's this Keenan clock? And then just smiled a little, and in the center ice area, trip. Chicago will be penalized. The team's now at 5 aside as Savard goes off the ice. No longer wearing the Captain C on his uniform. That's gone to Dirk Graham. Say that so much of this series hinges on what Savard does. Not a good play here, Herb.
Well, Dennis Savard is the key. And as I said earlier, Jigs, this guy is magic, and he can light them up. And they need him on the ice, killing penalties, playing a regular shift, equal strength situations, a power play. I guess he got caught in a little questionable penalty in the neutral zone. But this series is going to revolve on the abilities of Dennis Savard to inspire his teammates.
Saw Jerry Crisp doing some math, figuring out the time here. 1 minute and 22 seconds left on Poplinski's penalty. Now Savard draws the 2-minute tripping penalty. Calgary with Gilmore winning the faceoff, and he is bumped by Bob Murray. Dirk Graham tips it back into his own zone. It's handled now by Manson. Larmer and Murray drop back along with Graham, and out come the Blackhawks. Manson up the middle to Larmer. Steve Larmer over the line, but Graham got ahead of him, and the play is offside.
Talked about Dirk Graham earlier. Jake's got the C on. Dennis Savard used to have it on. They gave it to Dirk Graham. Got him in trade last year from the Minnesota North Stars. He's just had an excellent year for him.
And he really has. You look now at the Calgary bench. Jerry Crisp is doing some math. 12 wins, 8 losses in his playoff coaching career. A brief playoff stint last year. And now after going 7 games with Vancouver, his team sweeps the Los Angeles Kings at 4 and open this series. And some people are saying won't go any more than 4 again. But Chicago hoping to prove that to be a little different.
Biggs, I don't know. Let's not sell the Chicago Hockey Club out. They're playing loose. They have no pressure.
Joey Mullen moving in for Calgary. He's giving it to Doug Gilmore. Comes out of the corner. Nobody picked him up. Gilmore in the high slot. Now is checked by Manson. And Chicago able to come up with the puck. Jeremy Roenick, the rookie, moving in on this left side. The 19-year-old goes back to the net. Is knocked down by Natchez. There's Gilmore starting out for Calgary. Gilmore across the Chicago line. Got slowed up by Manson. McCowan in after the puck. The big defenseman walks out of the corner. Now goes back to the net with it. Another penalty call coming. And as Chicago gets control of the puck, Dave Newell calling a roughing penalty. Still 14 seconds left in Poplinski's penalty. And no score in this first period action.
To understand Asia, you have to understand its customs, its mystery, its people. You have to know what makes a good impression and what offends. For over 40 years, we've been learning about Asia. So in addition to our convenient schedules, we can give you something no other U.S. airline can. The knowledge that comes after 40 years of helping people do business in Asia.
A roughing penalty on Dave Manson, the Chicago defenseman, called, as you saw, at the 2:20 mark. Here's the way the penalty came about.
Dave Manson, nicknamed Charlie, he's really come a long way this year, and he's just been an excellent hockey player for him. He took a little bit more aggressive play there, and Dougie Gilmore, it's going to cost him now 4-3 in favor of Calgary.
Lots of ice here as Ramage holds the puck at the blue line. Feeds it into Lube. Back to Ramage. Lets one go. Kicked out by Chevrier. And the Blackhawks jump on it as Larmer clears the zone. Now Chicago, 2 men short. 30 seconds remaining in the penalty to Savard. Calgary with that 2-man advantage, having trouble in the center ice area. And Yanni played it down the ice in Calgary. Trying to move up on the left side, mishandled the puck. Fleury goes in after it. Fleury feeds the blue line. McGinnis back to Fleury. Centers one across, tipped by Basson, and that goes up into the seats. Bob Basson, the lone forward, as you look at Joey Newendike, last year's Rookie of the Year in the National Hockey League, followed up with another 51-goal season and 5 more here in the playoffs of '89.
Joey Newendike is struggling a little bit by his standards in the playoffs. He's a very key guy, especially in the power play. Takes a beating down front. They'll throw Newendike at you, or they'll throw Joel Otto at you down there. And the power play, again, then it revolves around those two people. And unless you get somebody inside that box and tie somebody up, you really don't have that manpower advantage.
Coach writing down the line combinations as you see Chevrier well up on top of the goal crease, making that save off Ramage a moment ago.
Chevrier has to be an aggressive goalkeeper, especially early in the game. He can't play back into that net.
Otto and Basson moved in for the face-off before Bob Murray stepped in to say something to Basson. He turns on Otto, but the Calgary Flames got the draw. Ramage with a shot. Blocked in front. Loose puck. Picked up by Basson, and then he couldn't hold it. Here's Ramage giving it to McGinnis. Chicago with one man back as Chevrier makes the save on the long shot and smothered the puck.
Once again, that's a very difficult play by Chevrier. He's trying to look through the screen of Joel Otto on there. Nobody can move Otto out of there. Such big, strong, and he's got to make that save. And it's so crucial. This is a 5-on-3 situation. Savard just coming out of the box. And again, he's able to keep the puck in front of him and then bounce to his feet. He's getting a little help from his defenseman, but again, someone's got to cave in and clean out Otto. If you can't clean him out, you've got to neutralize the stick. Get in position and tie up the stick and get to the puck first.
Action and reaction.
Name of the game, Jakes. This game is the game of action and reaction, and that's how it'll go throughout this whole 60 minutes.
Hard just beat Otto on the face-off here, but it's dug out of the corner. Gilmore fed it back. McGinnis shoots one wide. Mullen works it back to the blue line. Ramage to McGinnis through a screen. Blocked in front. They bang at it. Chevrier down. The scramble. The puck comes loose. The whistle had sounded, however. And now just 49 seconds left on the penalty to Manson.
Chicago's penalty killing, Jakes, again, is #1 in the National Hockey League on the road in these playoffs. The success ratio is 87.9%. And what they do, they'll put pressure on every type of a pass and every shot and every rebound. There's people helping out. Now you see almost the whole forwards caving in on that thing. They revolve that box. They play off one another. Mike Keenan's done a fine job. It's took them some time. They gave up, I think it was about 132 power play goals against them this year, but they have sure tightened up in the playoffs.
Yeah, they come in at number 19 at the end of the regular season, 74.6%, and here they are just about 86% in the playoffs. What a turnaround. But people are believing in the system of the coach now and enjoying the game. Otto won the draw, but put it right on Basson's stick, and he puts it over the heads of his teammates and on into the Chicago players' bench.
Not only that, are they killing those penalties, but they're scoring on them. They can score shorthanded as good as anybody. They'll turn Savard loose. They'll take Graham loose. They'll attack you with Larmer. And this playoff series, they have scored 7 shorthanded goals. So they're a dangerous team killing a penalty.
Bobby Basson getting a rest now, but out killing off the penalty. Savard wins the draw here as Larmer took Basson's spot. Basson back in his hometown of Calgary for the series against the Flames. 35 seconds remaining in Manson's roughing penalty. There is no score. Gilmore rushing the puck over the Chicago line. Center to Otto, and he's pretty well covered on the play as Larmer got to him. Get us at the point. Into Gilmore. Went to center one that was blocked by Trent Yanni. Bob Murray outbattles Otto. Chicago up with the puck, and Larmer clears it down the ice. Calgary has been off for 10 days. Chicago for 8. Roberts playing the puck across. It's centered off the pads of the goalkeeper, Chevrier. They had a man wide open, and then Newendike knocked down back of the play is shaken up. Meantime, Presley with a sizzling shot. Vernon made the save. And now as play is called, out comes the Calgary trainer. You see the blood on the ice as Newendike being attended to now by Jim Bearcat Murray.
Jakes, I think Newendike reached back for a rebound there, and then reaching back, I think he caught his stick right in the face. Again, he was in the right position, and Peck just tied his hands a little bit. He was getting a nice pass from Joey Mullen, but he just handcuffed him a little bit ahead, reaching back, and he went down. You can see he's a little ahead of the puck and reaching back for that thing right now. Reaching back, and he'll get the stick someplace. We lose track a little bit, but I think he got the stick as he was going down, or maybe the skate as he was going down. But again, nice play by Joey Mullen. Just handcuffed him a little bit ahead of the play. He's reaching back for it. As you can see, diving, the skate came back, caught him right on the chin.
Boy, one of the hazards of this game. Neuendijk going back to the Calgary players bench now, and he'll receive more treatment at that point. Face-off will be in the Calgary zone.
For the fire, for the drive, for pushing hard each time you try, for the heroes staying true, for the team for coming through. This one's for you.
World champions for the 4th year in a row, the Budweiser King, and Motor Week's Driver of the Year, Kenny Bernstein.
This Bud's for you.
Calgary clearing the puck out following the face-off, and Otto gets knocked down at center ice. That's out right back into the Calgary zone, and Vernon got bumped back in the net, but there's McDonald on the right wing board. Outlet pass to center for Merson, steps over the Chicago line, shoots, Vernon the save, and Otto's rebound is turned aside. McDonald out of the corner has given it to Merson. Centered one in front, broken up momentarily. Now here's Poplinski turning for Calgary. He got checked with the far boards by Conroy. And the Blackhawks move over center ice. Presley with it. Couldn't get across the Calgary line. Defenseman Dana Merson banks one off the glass. Blackhawks retreat. Manson had a little trouble handling the puck. Now plays it up the boards to Graham. He gets bumped. Meantime, Larmer has it at center to Savard. Into the Calgary zone. Looks for some help. Held the puck neatly. Savard finds an opening. Shoots. Vernon the save. Savard after the rebound. Can't get to it in time. Meantime, Larmer, a little slow getting back on side. He'd been knocked down deep in the Calgary zone. Outside still being delayed, and now the Flames have got it the length of the ice. Ruled that McGill either touched it or could have it center, so there is no whistle. And no score, early going, opening period action here at Calgary. Vernon plays it around the boards. McClellan back for the Flames. Trying to get Gilmore loose. He gets bumped by Graham. Now McClellan steps into Graham. Meantime, Bobby Basson puts the puck in the Calgary end of the ice. Mattress to McCowan. McCowan bumped by Murray as he made the pass. Seeing something happen here that the Flames didn't experience in that series against L.A. Chicago completing some checks. Now Gilmore over the line. Moves it in around the defenseman Keith Brown. They try to center to Gilmore, and that's no good. The Blackhawks start down the left side. Basson handling the puck. Dumps it in. Vernon comes out of the net. Missed it. Troy Murray's shot is blocked by Vernon. McCowan turns it over. Here's Murray for Chicago to Basson. To Murray. Ronick was cruising in front of the net. They couldn't get the puck to him. And now as they center, it's scooped up and held by Mike Vernon. Chicago using the body. Let's pause now for a regional break. You're watching the Stanley Cup playoffs on Sports Channel.
The Smythe Division champion Calgary Flames. They were pushed to the brink by an upstart Vancouver Canucks team. It took an overtime goal in Game 7 to put them in a series with Wayne Gretzky and the Los Angeles Kings. The Flames responded by using the talent and muscle that got them the league's best overall record in the regular season. They crushed the Kings in 4 straight. Now they take on the champions of the Norris Division in an attempt to reach the Cup Finals for the second time in 4 years. The Stanley Cup Conference Finals on Sports Channel.
Mike Vernon has faced only 3 shots thus far in the opening period. Made a big save a moment ago on Troy Murray.
Mike Vernon's got to come out, cut that angle off, and he does, and he got out maybe a little bit too far. And he thought his defense was going to be able to come up with it, but he had good communication there, was able to get that puck to the corner and then regain his composure.
Now the Flames dumping one in from the blue line. Chevrier out of the Chicago net, played it to his defenseman Bob Murray. Up to Adam Creighton. Creighton got away from Lube at center, but then lost the puck, and there's Roberts. Banking one off the boards. Murray back, turned it over. Roberts steps across the line. He and Lube to the front of the net. And then Roberts gets checked by Manson. Here's Steve Thomas. He's given it to Murray, and the Blackhawks dump it in. Chicago going for a player change as McCrimmon picks up the puck. Up to Lube. Let it go through center ice. The Blackhawks on it quickly. Dumped it in. McCrimmon hustles back. Crimmins and Ramage on defense. It's Roberts with Fleury and Lube as the forwards right now. Diving play at the Chicago defense. They managed to hold it in, but now Lube takes it on the right wing and gives it to McCrimmon. Out to Roberts, tips it through center ice. Yanni racing back as Fleury cuts in after the puck. Chevrier moved it meekly to the right side. Bob McGill works it to center, and the Blackhawks dump it in and then go for a player change. Again, a slaps one off the boards to Gilmore. Now to Merson, steps over center. Merson has it knocked off his stick at the blue line as Conroy just moved it nicely. Conroy, former draft pick of the Calgary Flames, got it to the line. McGillis with a shot. The rebound, and Chevrier robs Gilmore. Merson moves it back to the net. It'll be picked up by Brown, and we get a delay penalty call against Calgary. Chicago moving out. Greg Gilbert dumps it down the ice. This will get the face-off in the Calgary zone as Chicago gets ready to go to the power play. We pause now for a regional break. You're watching the Stanley Cup playoffs on Sports Channel.
The Norris Division champion Chicago Blackhawks. This is the Cinderella team of the playoffs. This scrappy group of veterans and their fearless leader made the playoffs on the final night of the regular season. They knocked off a heavily favored Detroit squad and put the Blues back in St. Louis with tight checking, superb goaltending, and timely goal scoring. They are just one giant step away from reaching the Cup Finals for the first time since 1973. The Stanley Cup Conference Finals on Sports Channel.
Dana Merson picks up an elbowing penalty at the 8:19 mark.
Well, Jakes, Dana Merson is so big that here we're taking a look at Dougie Gilmore. What a great chance he had on a rebound. He tried to go to the 5-hole, couldn't get there. Go back to that penalty. Dana Merson, so big, 6'3", it's almost a normal thing, but he had to give him that little extra shot. And again, David Newell is going to keep control of this game the way he's calling early penalties and somewhat soft penalties.
Now Patterson clearing the zone for Calgary. Chicago setting up with the man advantage. Bob Murray with a pass to Manson. Dumps it in. It was knocked down by Patterson. Picked up by Roenick. Jeremy Roenick lost it in the corner, and Patterson is backhanded at the length of the ice. Roberts comes out along with Lube to pick up the penalty killing for Calgary. McCowan with a long shot. Chevrier the stick save. Laid it across to Manson. He turns it over to Lube, who couldn't handle it. Roberts back, got bumped by Larmer, and Creighton for Chicago steps into the Calgary zone. It's knocked off his stick and shot down the ice by Lube.
James, we're going to see a lot of Adam Creighton. Why are we going to do that? He's a big guy, 6'5". He can't go every fourth shift. He's got to get up ice to stay in the rhythm and the flow of the game.
Out there on the power play, moves the puck into the Calgary zone, then got tied up by Ramage. Savard in after it. Savard, Creighton, and Larmer up front. Yanni and Keith Brown on defense, but Calgary comes up 3-on-3 as Lube handles the puck, but brought it in offside. 53 seconds left in Merson's elbowing penalty. Lube on his knees in front of the goal as you look at the coaching matchup here. Mike Keenan in his 5th season in the NHL, and he's been to the Stanley Cup Finals twice as coach of the Philadelphia Flyers. Jacques Marchand, who handled St. Louis for a couple of seasons, his first year as an assistant in Chicago. Of course, Mike's old friend, E.J. McGuire, who handles the video work, on-ice work as well. Terry Crisp with Tom Watt, Doug Reisbrow, Tommy Watt, and Mike Keenan, friends. In fact, Keenan played under Watt at the University of Toronto, and later went on to coach that same University of Toronto Blues hockey club.
See, both these hockey clubs are very well coached. Good staff. These hockey clubs will be well prepared for this series.
Video comes into play, something that both teams do an awful lot of, breaking down videotapes, game after game, shift after shift.
Seems this game is a game of action-reaction. You said it earlier, and this is what it'll be.
Loose puck at the side of the goal. Vernon went down, but Graham couldn't get a stick on it. Thomason dug it off the boards, got it to Graham, but now cross-checking penalty. Referee Dave Newell spotting Troy Murray pushing at Ramage in front of the net. So Chicago picking up a penalty, nullifying their power play. Still 31 seconds left in Merson's elbowing penalty. No score. We have 10 minutes and 12 seconds remaining in this opening period.
Chicago has to show the discipline when they're on their specialty teams. They can't get the extra penalty once that they did earlier in the game. They can't give away power play opportunities. Turn the other cheek. Do anything to stay on the ice.
It was Mullen that got the cross-check, courtesy of Troy Murray, not Ramage. Savard will take the draw against Gilmore. And that's a matchup that we expect to see more of when the teams are at 6 aside. Gilmore with Patterson and Mullen as a rule. Savard normally with Larmer and Gilbert, but neither team able to get much flow here because of the penalties. We've now had 5 minor penalties called in the first 10 minutes of the game. Handling the puck, getting Savard with a pass to Bob Murray. The defenseman dumped it in. It's picked up by McGinnis. Down to Mullen, goes cross ice. Here's McCowan moving out with it. He shoots one from the blue line. He scores! McCowan blasts one from the blue line. Herb?
Well, Jigs, this is the guy you're not going to see too often leading a rush, especially on the 4-on-4. He got good wood on it, but again, that was a soft goal. Chevrier should have had it. He just blew it through the 5-hole there. You're not going to see Chevrier do that too often. But again, in a 4-on-4 situation, again, you don't like to see that defense leading a rush. But Jamie McCown says, I'm going to take advantage of it. He got the puck on top of the circle, and he just beat it up. Again, soft goal by Chevrier. Again, we talked earlier, he's got to be aggressive. He's got to be strong in the early going.
And now, Chicago short-handed. Center ice are able to pick up the puck and dump it down into the Calgary zone. McGinnis, a Ramage off his stick to Neuendijk. He gets bumped solidly by Presley. McGinnis starts from back of the net. Headed to the left side for Ramage. He's over center with a pass to Lube across the Chicago line. Worked it to McGinnis, or Ramage, excuse me, and it was knocked away from him. Good play by Wayne Presley. Then he and Ramage get embroiled, pushing and shoving at one another. Separate now as Lube comes over the line. He's giving it to Ramage. Centers blocked in front by Conroy, and Yanni can't clear it out. Presley gets a stick on it. He's dumped it out into the center ice zone, and now Presley and Fleury were nose to nose. Ramage comes in along with Neuendijk. Pass, I believe. You look at the sea of red, over 20,000 strong at the Olympic Saddledome.
Jimmy McCowan again, just getting the puck over that blue line. And he can shoot the puck. Chevrier was out. He was right where he should have been. He had the angle cut down, but again, he just opened that 5-hole enough, and then he just blew it right through there.
It is Flames country. Become wearing red. A sea of red tonight. Calgary leads 1-0. McCowan's third goal in the playoffs. Mullen and McGinnis assisting. The goal at the 10:18 mark. Each team shorthanded.
Chicago's just running around a little bit too much, Jakes. Here, their emotion has taken them over that little point of common sense. They got to slow it down a little bit, coordinate the mind with their legs somewhat.
They win the face-off here as Larmer up front along with Graham. They have Yanni and Manson together on defense. Brent Yanni broke up the Calgary rush. Graham bounces one into the flame zone. That'll be handled by Ramage. Larmer right on him. Now McGinnis steps from back of the net. Just did get it to Lube as he comes down the right wing. Lube moving in on Yanni. Cuts to the left. Dropped it neatly to Fleury. He's picked up by Graham and knocked flat. Neuendijk works it back to the point. Ramage went after it. Got to it just in time. Here's Lube setting up McGinnis. Back to Lube. Lube through a screen, and that's wide of the net. Ends up in the right wing corner for Larmer. Can't clear the zone. The team's at 6 aside, however. Neuendijk centering attempt for Fleury is blocked. And Chicago dumps it the length of the ice. They'll get a whistle here as McCrimmon touches up. They have just under 8 minutes remaining in the opening period at the Olympic Saddledome. Jamie McCowan giving Calgary the 1-0 lead.
Anyone care for a nice cold bud?
And where does she come from?
some dispute as to whether Fleury is 5'6" or 5'7". No matter what it really is, he plays much bigger than his size. Look at that hit.
Well, Dirk Graham has stepped in, caught him coming across a little bit. Fleury, again, keep his head up a little bit, especially against a guy like Dirk Graham.
And there's Joel Otto twice testing Chevrier from close in. Steve Conroy moves the puck into the center ice zone. Across the line with it. Lonit can't make the play, and McCrimmon has cleared the zone. Poplinski waiting for it at center ice, bumped solidly by Conroy. McDonald takes a hit over on the left wing as Calgary is content to dump it in. Chevrier moving one around the board. Picked up back to the net by Poplinski. Centered it through McDonald. Berzin's shot changed direction as Conroy put a stick on it in front of his goalkeeper. Thomas moving it out for Chicago. Here's Berzin. Steps over the blue line. Fires one stick save by Chevrier. Berzin trailing his own rebound. Got bumped back to the net. Keith Brown gets a piece of the puck, and the man ends up in the corner and handled now by Larmer, former Rookie of the Year. Current National Hockey League Ironman. A lot of games, 7 consecutive seasons for Larmer without missing a game. Gets help here as Savard dumps it in, comes back to the blue line. Manson's shot went off Mullen and ends up at center ice. Murray plays it right back in, off Vernon's stick. And after it is Van Dorp. Wayne Van Dorp fired from Buffalo, centers one off Patterson's stick. He turns, recovers, and starts out. Patterson, a long pass, bounces off Gilmore. Gilmore moves in, shoots. Chevrier got a piece of that. Van Dorp back for Chicago, plays it to the corner for Larmer. Up along the boards now, Bob Murray handles the puck. Steps over center and dumps it in. Van Dorp goes in after it. Vernon plays it to the other side for Patterson. It bounces away from him. Graham hesitates, now tries to move it across the line. Couldn't get it onto the stick of Troy Murray. And at center ice, the Blackhawks recover and force the Flames back. A little less than 6 minutes to play in the opening period. Calgary up 1-0 on home ice. Game 1 of the Campbell Conference Championship round. Troy Murray is able to move the puck into the Calgary zone. Vernon gave it away. Dwayne Sutter can't get it out in front. Sutter centers now, comes back to Yanni. Lets one go. Grabbed and held by Vernon. Vernon screens, still able to get his eye on the puck and make a glove save to keep it at 1-0.
An important message for you, Milky. I'm not going to pay a lot for this muffler, you fool.
Hey, good news. I predict I'm not going to pay a lot for this muffler.
Don't worry. At Meineke, you get quality Everlast mufflers from just $18.93 installed.
This is what I've been saying, you idiot. I'm not going to pay a lot for this muffler. Speak better.
You're not going to pay a lot for quality at Meineke.
Well, as you saw on Sports Channel last night, the Philadelphia Flyers still with that adrenaline flowing after beating Pittsburgh, went into Montreal and won 3-1. You'll see the second game of the series tomorrow night, 7:30 Eastern Time, right here on Sports Channel. That game also at the Forum in Montreal. Did that surprise you last night, Herb, the way Philadelphia went in and beat the Canadians?
Well, yes and no. Philadelphia a little banged up. Maybe an upset someplace along the line. And maybe, if Philly does, I would consider that an upset. But Montreal's got to jack it up just a notch or so.
Chicago getting back to break up the Calgary rush here. Dumped it out. You had a look at Mike Vernon. You think of the goaltending last night on the part of the Philadelphia Flyers, Ken Regan. He and Vernon, outstanding Western Hockey League goaltenders in their day, and now both battling for a chance to meet one another in the Stanley Cup final. Referee Dave Newell has called matching penalties here. Just gave the threat of a misconduct signal. As Roberts goes off, along with Keith Brown, the Chicago defenseman.
Again, Jake, Chicago is just a little bit more aggressive. They're not a big hockey club, at least amongst their forwards. And they're finishing checks. Yes, you got to finish your checks, but you keep banging Calgary time after time with the size they have. I don't know if that's going to hurt them. It's going to be counterproductive. Take the angles, tie up their hands, and play a high-tempo game. And then Chicago's going to be all right, but they're dumping the puck too much, trying to get things from a defensive posture in deep. And again, Calgary has solved all those type of situations, and they're just turning and walking out of their zone.
Teams remain at 6 aside. Chicago with only 4 shots on goal. Calgary with 13. And the Flames lead 1-0 on McCowan's goal. Hassan dumps the puck into the Calgary zone. McCrimmon backboard. Got bumped by Presley. Presley dug it out of the corner, then lost it to Lou. The left side they come. Neuendijk's cross-ice pass was broken up. Hassan making the play, and here's Presley stepping over the blue line. Presley shot put off the defenseman Ramage, and now the stick comes up into the face of Presley. He's slow getting back to his skates. No penalty call, and Lube makes the pass across to Ramage. There's the zone just as Presley gets to the Chicago bench. Replaced by Dwayne Sutter. It's Manson slapping it in around the boards. Roenick couldn't get a stick on it. Sutter did. There's Ramage feeding one to McCrimmon. Ties it out through center ice. Picked up by Manson. He can't get over the Calgary line. Bob Murray's pass onto the stick of Gilbert. He goes cross ice, but Roenick is well covered. Down the right wing comes Patterson. Colin Patterson can't move it to Gilmore in time. McGinnis at center ice. Slaps it right back in. Bob Murray colliding with Gilmore. There's Dwayne Sutter for Chicago. He strings Roenick, who dumps it down into the Calgary end. Little less than 4 minutes to go in the first period. Mullen, quick pass to Gilmore on left wing. He shoots a long one, blocked by Chevrier, and then the rebound is slapped wide. Out of the corner comes Larmer for Chicago. Giving it to Conroy, to Larmer, steps over the line, got tripped up by his teammate Van Dort. Calgary handling the puck here as McGinnis comes to center and dumps it in. Chevrier backs it off the right wing boards to captain Dirk Graham. Back to the net now. Graham trying to move around Mullen. Has given it to Conroy. Conroy draws a crowd at center, and Chicago will pick it up and tear it down the ice again. Johnny, last year's Canadian Olympic team, turns in the far corner. Takes it up the boards to Dirk Graham. 2 men back. Graham elected to try and move in around McCowan, then got knocked down, and there's going to be a penalty. 3 minutes and 3 seconds left in this opening period. Referee Dave Newell has had a constant parade to the penalty box in this first 20 minutes. You see the concern in the face of Coach Terry Crisp.
Well, there has been a lot of penalties, no question about it. Dave Newell looks like he's going to call a tight game, but more importantly, when Dirk Graham approached that offensive blue and a little fake shot and go to the outside, he forced McCowan to pull him down. And that's what Chicago's got to do more of. They've been dumping the puck and just chasing the thing, and again, they're trying to bang the Calgary defense, but it hasn't been productive. Try to be a little more creative, and Dirk Graham did a nice job on that. Force something, be creative a little bit. And again, you'll have Calgary back off that line just enough to get possession of that line and then start doing something. And Chicago has the forwards to do that, especially Savard. They're not a big group of forwards outside of Van Dorp, who's not going to see a lot of ice time. Creighton Bate, he will see a lot of ice time. But again, a lot of small forwards. Finishing in check, yes. But again, try to do something a little bit more.
Looking at the Chicago bench, that's Wayne Presley. Seems to be all right after taking that errant stick in front of the Calgary goal. He saw him wiping his mouth a moment ago. The penalty here is for holding on McCowan at 16:57. Regular season, Chicago with 6 power play goals. In games against Calgary, 3 games. Calgary won all 3. Saw what they've done during the playoffs. Now with the man advantage, Troy Murray is out with Savard, Larmer, Yanni, and Bob Murray. Otto will take the draw here along with Patterson.
Sorry, this is an entirely different Chicago team that we've seen during the regular season with all the acquisitions. And again, they're a little bit more solidified. They know what Mike Keenan expects. They're just a little more of a continuity in all their play right now.
So much of believing in one another at this stage of the year. They get the puck back to Bob Murray and along the boards. Larmer handling it. And Murray, Larmer. He's picked up by McCrimmon, forced back to the point for a long shot that's blocked in front. Loose puck, Savard couldn't get a stick on it. It comes back to Bob Murray for a shot, blocked to the defense. He sets up Yanni at the point. Now to Murray. Into Larmer. Troy Murray setting up a screen in front of the net as Larmer waits with the puck. Fake once. Beats it back. Bob Murray shot tipped. Good stop by Vernon as it came off. Troy Murray's stick and is cleared down the ice. Chevrier out of the net, moves it through center. None of his teammates able to pick it up, but Savard checked Ramage, and that forces Neuendijk to hustle back. So Neuendijk banks it off the boards. Evrier handles it in the Chicago net. 1 minute, 6 seconds remaining in McCowan's holding penalty. Calgary leading 1-0. Creighton gets away from Neuendijk at center. Reflames back as he moved it to Graham. Gets it back to the net. Creighton after it. Couldn't get to it. Bob Murray can't trap it on the boards. Here's Neuendijk down the left side. Good play by Manson to come over and knock it away from him. Now Creighton. Graham got over the line. The puck picked up. The Blackhawks move into position here. Steve Thomas leads the blue line. Now has given it to Manson. Into Graham, who was knocked away from him. Picked up by Creighton center. Graham's shot is blocked. Gilmore has it for Calgary and dumps it to length of the ice. Back for Chicago goes Brown. Now a tussle in front of the Calgary bench as Thomas got involved. Tim Hunter screaming at him from the bench. Referee Dave Newell consulting with linesman Swede Knox here as you look at Steve Thomas. And now the officials huddled in front of the Calgary bench.
Again, Chicago's ready to play. Again, you want to bring that emotion up when you freeze it. And Chicago does not want to end up in getting the unnecessary penalties. Even though their penalty killing is good and they can score on it, but still it just goes against you. Calgary's got that good power play team. Here's a guy that, as I said earlier, sort of maligned. They don't give a guy enough credit. What I like about Mike Vernon is his ability to go down and get up. You'll see it there. He's quick, and he's got a good vision out there. But he likes to stand up, and he likes to control those rebounds. And he'll look. And again, it's sometimes tough to play goal behind a good checking team such as Calgary is. He doesn't get tested, and when he does, he has to be sharp. And this guy is the reason why Calgary's here, because without him, they don't get by Vancouver. Simple as that.
He had given Troy Murray a little tap with the stick before Murray made the deflection. Vernon up with the save. Saw the isolation on the goalkeeper, and now the penalty calls here. Steve Thomas had gone to the penalty box initially. After consulting with his linesman, 22-year veteran referee, Dave Newell. He's 44 years old. I know he'd appreciate being called 22, though. Talks it over with the Calgary alternate captain, Lanny McDonald. Pete Brown listening in on behalf of the Blackhawks.
Number 32, Steve Thomas, 2 minutes for slashing to the Flames. Number 19, Tim Hunter, 2 minutes for roughing. The time 18:38.
Interesting call in that Hunter, I believe, was on the Calgary bench at the time. Thomas for slashing, Tim Hunter for roughing at 18:38.
I guess that's getting involved. I'm surprised he wasn't Bearcat Murray, Jakes.
The Bearcat, man who was out on the ice when Calgary scored what turned out to be a game-winning goal. Hunter with the markings on his nose, now talking to Coach Terry Crisp.
Crispy's laughing. I don't know, he says, hey, Timmy, look at that big nose. You've got another one on there. But I tell you, Timmy Hunter's really done something. He's worked hard at his career over the years. He's developed into a pretty solid hockey player. And again, he's really a force in that locker room on the bench. That's why he's got that A on his sweater. Take a look at that. Just a little altercation in the front of the Calgary bench. He gets a little stick, say, hey, stay away from here. Gets a little tap. Stevie Thomas came right back on it. And how Timmy Hunter got caught cut there on the nose, I'm not really sure.
Well, we have cameras everywhere, and Sports Channel catching it for you as Hunter stick reaches out, makes contact with Thomas. Thomas had a slashing penalty coming originally, and now Hunter for roughing. One minute, 22 seconds remaining in the opening period. Gilmore is going to take the face-off. Still 18 seconds remaining in McCowan's holding penalty. Chicago still with a man advantage, trailing 1-0 late in the first period. Heath Brown moves it up the boards. Over the line comes Graham, but he couldn't handle the bouncing puck. Brown waits at center. Goaltender slapping his stick on the ice, alerting his teammates that McCowan is about to step out of the box, and the puck is shot high and into the Calgary players' bench.
Jakes, we've watched now the first period for any type of line matchups. And if you're running the bench there, Mike Keenan, you're going to see a little more mix and match there, especially who's going to play with Savard and Lammer. He'll use his bench a little differently than Terry Chris. Terry Chris says, During the regular season, we got 117 points. We're going to use our bench. We're going to use our depth, and we're going to come over the boards. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Try to play an up-tempo game. We're going to wear you down. And yes, we've got our specialty teams. But again, there'll be 2 different coaching styles in this series.
Well, the coach of the Blackhawks, Mike Keenan, has Troy Murray out there. Murray, born in Calgary, but raised in Edmonton. Played his youth hockey in Edmonton. See him talking to Basson and Dwayne Sutter. Conroyd and Yanni together on the Chicago defense. Otto on the draw. Trying to step around Troy Murray. Now gets help as Gilmore played it out to center, and it's shot right back in again by Yanni. 14 shots on goal by Calgary. Only 5 by the Blackhawks. They try to get something set up here. Dwayne Sutter feeds Conroyd through a screen and is tipped wide of the net. Yanni held it in at the point. It went right to McGinnis. He's given it to Joey Mullen. Carries it across the line, then shoots one off the stick of Conroyd and well up into the seats. 31 seconds remaining in the period. Joey Mullen will be joining us. See some of the markings around his mouth.
Joey likes to get involved at times. The line of Mullen and whoever he's out there, most likely with Dougie Gilmore and Colin Patterson, is a line that's so important to Calgary's hockey club. They might get a little more, a few extra shifts during the first 5 minutes and a few extra in the last 5 minutes. Other than that, again, Terry Crisp will use his bench. But that Joey Mullen, I tell you, he has just been a dynamite hockey player for this organization.
Mentioned Joey Mullen. He will be joining us in our first intermission. We'll get his interpretation of this first period in the series as it unfolds. Allen dumping it around behind the net. There's Greg Gilbert for Chicago, trying to center one that was broken up. Mullen coming down the right wing, turns on Graham, then is bumped by Greg Gilbert. Mattress for Calgary. There's the length of the ice. A call with 4 seconds left in the period as Calgary is charged with having iced the puck.
Let's see if Mike Pullen pulls Chevrier. 4 seconds, I would say, well, no, you're on the road. Let's not try that. 3 seconds, Jakes, maybe you want to do it. 4 seconds, it can be scored on. But I'm sure that Mike Keenan is thinking about it and looking at that faceoff.
We welcome those of you who have been watching the baseball action with the Mets in Atlanta meeting the Braves. Welcome to the Olympic Saddle Dome, where the Calgary Flames have a 1-0 lead over the Chicago Blackhawks. We have only 4 seconds remaining in the opening period. The goal came while the teams were playing at 4 aside. Mets beating Atlanta tonight. Lost only once in the last 7 or 8 games now, I guess it is, on the road here, finishing up a series down south. And here, the opening game of the Campbell Conference Championship round. Troy Murray will take the face-off. He's going to try and set up Larmer. Can't do it, however, as Otto wins the draw. Loose puck. And that's one of the longest 4 seconds in hockey history right there.
That's why you don't want to pull that goalkeeper.
Mike Vernon didn't have a great deal to do, but he made one big save on that deflection by Troy Murray, and Calgary has a 1-0 lead at the end of one period. Now back to our Sports Channel studios.
Thanks, Jiggs. I'm Lee Zeidman along with Mike Leut. Coaching news tonight, Robbie Ftorek fired, Brian Murray rehired. Those stories coming up between periods.
Plus a closer look at a pair of Blackhawks who've played key roles in Chicago's Cinderella postseason.
Plus an interview with Flame scoring star Joey Mullen. Sports Channel Stanley Cup coverage continues after this.
The Adams Division champion Montreal Canadiens, a team rich in tradition with 22 championships to their credit. This team is considered by many to have the tools to win it all. They dispatched an aggressive Hartford Whalers team in 4 straight and avenged last year's playoff loss to their hated rivals, the Boston Bruins. Now, Les Habitants will reach deep into their bag of tricks as they take on the Patrick Division champions and go for their 2nd Cup title in 4 years. The Stanley Cup Conference Finals on Sports Channel.
Where can you find cable TV's newest source for up-to-the-minute sports scores, fast-breaking sports news, and highlights? The answer is Sports Nightly. Join Lee Zeidman, Darryl Brunette, and Mike Breen before, during, and after each night's primetime event. You get updates on the evening's major sports events from the NHL to the NBA, baseball, and more. Plus, get expert commentary from our in-studio guests. Sports Nightly is cable TV's newest source for sports news, and you'll find it only on Sports Channel.
One of the sweetest memories I have is of going to the movies with you, Dad.
Oh, those were the days.
Ah, they were classics. Hollywood classics.
Hollywood casts?
They're still around. Where? Cable TV.
Cable TV? Mm-hmm. American movie classics. Just movies?
Great movies.
Movies like they used to be.
Classics.
American movie classics. Movies that last a lifetime. Call your cable company today.
The Stanley Cup playoffs keep getting hotter, and the competition gets a lot tougher. Hockey's Final Four battle for the right to be in the finals. The champions in the Smythe and Norris divisions battle for the crown in the Campbell, while the survivors of the Patrick and Adams division wars duke it out for the Wales championship. From the opening face-off to the final seconds of play, you won't miss a shot as hockey's Final Four go for the ultimate goal. The Stanley Cup Conference Finals on Sports Channel tomorrow.
We're at the end of the first period at the Olympic Saddledome in Calgary. The Flames leading the Blackhawks by a score of 1-0. They get the goal midway through the period. Defenseman Jamie McCowan scoring. The teams each shorthanded at the time. Shots on goal by the Flames, 14. By Chicago, 5. And it's 1-0 Calgary at the end of one period. We welcome those of you in our Chicago audience now. Joining us there on Sports Channel tonight, I'm Jakes McDonald. And joining us is Joey Mullen of the Calgary Flames. First of all, congratulations on just a great season, setting that U.S. record, Joey. And now on to the playoffs where you've picked up the pace. Except I felt that there wasn't a great deal of flow in this first period tonight.
Well, there was a lot of penalties out there, Jakes. And, I was really surprised that he called so many penalties early in a game like this. He didn't give anybody a chance to really get going out there except for the guys on the power play and the penalty killers.
How difficult has the last 10 days been without a game to look forward to and nothing but the grind of practice, practice, practice?
Well, you kind of get bored with it. You know, it's one practice after another, one meeting after another. And you can only have so many practices and so many meetings before you got to get out there and exert the kind of energy that you're going to exert in a game.
Now, the Chicago team, was it a surprise to you that they came out of their division as the champions and show up here in Calgary for this series?
Well, Chicago's always had a lot of talent in their organization. For some reason, through injuries and other different reasons, that they haven't come through that many times lately. That division always seems like it's up for grabs. And, it's anybody's ball game in the Norris division. And I think Chicago proved that this year.
How do you feel the two teams match up, Joey?
Pretty good. They're both big, strong, physical teams. They got some speed. We got some speed. I think, defensively is going to tell a story. We're pretty confident with our defense, and hopefully we can keep that going like we did against L.A. and have some more offense going.
Just to get away from the series and the playoffs for a moment, I understand that there's a move afoot to do the life story of Joey Mullen, a made-for-television special. Who would you like to see cast in the role of Joey Mullen?
Well, I'm not sure. I don't even know if I'd like to see the story. It's just an idea that's been thrown out to me, see if I'm interested in getting it done, and we got to see what happens first.
Well, we're all interested in watching it, and I know probably Carl Malden will be the coach somewhere along the line because the president of the Joey Mullen fan club, Herb Brooks, isn't up for the role. I appreciate your time, Joey. Good luck to the Flames. We'll be watching you, of course, throughout here and also in Chicago as well. Okay. We're at the end of the first period at the Olympic Saddledome, and the Calgary Flames, on the strength of Jamie McCowan's goal, have a 1-0 lead over the Blackhawks.
Now move into select Mercury models and get 2.9 annual percentage rate financing, or get $1,000 cash back on Mercury Tracer, $750 cash back on Sable, or $600 cash back on Mercury Topaz and Mercury Cougar LS. Make the move. See your Lincoln Mercury dealer today.
Oh, how... to that night and read to us and memories. But Harold, this is the 80s. And I wanted a Bud Light.
If you want the one light that outshines them all, ask for Bud Light.
Kill the light, will you, Harold?
Oh, because everything else is just a light.
CCM 651 Tax. The only skate with vacuform, heat molded to the exact shape of your foot. The only skate with heel lace that locks in perfect fit to transmit your power and control directly where you need it most, right into your game.
Ounces for 3
by CCM. Turn on the power.
Welcome back to Sports Channel Studios, New York. Lee Zeidman along with Chicago enters the Stanley Cup semifinal with a defense weakened by injury. Success here may rest upon the play of a pair of defensemen who, despite a significant difference in age and experience, have still developed into an interesting tandem. Sports Channel's Grant Pollock reports from Calgary.
One is 34 years old and in his 14th season in the NHL. The other is 22 and 3 years in the NHL. Veteran Bob Murray had the shock of his career earlier this season when he was demoted to the minors for the first time since 1974.
He was demoted to the minor league team when he came into camp. We didn't feel his fitness was quite up to par and that he had to refocus on his commitment to the game. And he went down and was a real strong advocate of the things that we were trying to implement here in Chicago. I think Darryl Sutter did an excellent job in handling him well. They worked together, and Bob worked very hard on his own to upgrade his fitness. He came back, progressively was worked into the lineup, and now is playing a major role in this hockey club.
I believe I've gained more, not so much as far as hockey's concerned, but off the ice. I think that whatever comes after hockey, I'll be able to handle now. I think it was a good life experience. As far as hockey, maybe it was a necessity for me and the Chicago Blackhawks.
Keenan has partnered Murray with defenseman Dave Manson, the Hawks' first-round draft choice 4 years ago. And Murray isn't afraid to heap the accolades on his younger teammate.
Young, talented, he's exciting. He's got that freshness of youth. He's out there and he's going to go, and he doesn't want to come off the ice, and he wants to stay on the ice. And he's going to be great, and it's just a great job by Mike Keenan with Dave Manson.
Bob's, he's shown his experience coming in. He stepped in. He didn't play very much throughout the year. He played down the minors, but he stepped in. He's just done a great job. He's helped me out a lot. He plays very consistent, and he really helps me out because sometimes I take the chances and I maybe Bob will play, and I always know Bob is there. And he's just been a great addition to the team in the playoffs.
Manson finally beginning to show the promise to live up to the expectations.
Well, it's very difficult for a first-year defenseman or goaltender to break in and be an established star. And a guy like Bob Murray, who has a wealth of knowledge and is willing to share that with a young player, can help in the maturity. And I think that you're seeing the benefits of that.
Yeah, Manson's role increased with the injury to Doug Wilson. We've seen that tonight. We'll take a break, then take up that news from Los Angeles. Kings shopping for a coach.
This Stanley Cup score update is being brought to you by your Toyota dealer. Whatever car or truck you choose, you'll love the quality. Who could ask for anything more? MasterCard. You can count on MasterCard to help you master the moment. And Northwest Airlines, serving more of Asia than any other U.S. airline. Coming in May, it looks like basketball, feels like basketball, so it must be basketball. Presenting the World Basketball League. Get ready for a summer of exciting hoops action. The WBL's height limit of 6 feet 5 inches makes it a faster, more dynamic game, featuring some of America's top former college talent. The WBL also includes teams from the Soviet Union, Greece, and Italy, making it truly a World Basketball League. Look for it starting in May, only on Sports Channel. Where can you find cable TV's newest source for up-to-the-minute sports scores, fast-breaking sports news, and highlights? The answer is Sports Nightly. Join Lee Zeidman, Darryl Brunette, and Mike Breen before, during, and after each night's primetime event. You get updates on the evening's major sports events from the NHL to the NBA, baseball, and more. Plus, get expert commentary from our in-studio guests. Sports Nightly is cable TV's newest source for sports news, and you'll find it only on Sports Channel. Sports Channel profile, Joe Newendike of the Calgary Flames.
Scoring 50 last year in my rookie year, I mean, I can remember that goal like it was yesterday. So the first thing you want to try and do is make the team and hopefully stay up with them all year long. But once things got rolling for me, I gained more confidence and I went out every time and did the job. So being my first year and able to have that accomplishment is a big thrill for me.
Joe Newendike and the Flames chasing the ultimate goal, the Stanley Cup on Sports Channel.
I want to welcome Sports Channel New England viewers who just saw the Boston Celtics eliminated from the NBA playoffs. We're talking hockey. And 8 days after Calgary swept Wayne Gretzky and the Kings out of the playoffs, Coach Robbie Ftorek is out of a job, canned by the Kings earlier this evening. A stunning comeback victory over Edmonton in round one was quickly forgotten. Kings officially say Ftorek is a teaching-style coach who could not handle veterans, underlining the rift the young coach made with Wayne Gretzky early in the year. After his first full season behind the NHL bench, Ftorek is out. The Kings hope to hire a new coach before the draft in mid-June. In Washington, Capitals coach Brian Murray keeps his job, handed a 2-year contract extension. The Caps perennially exit the playoffs early. A first-round loss to Philadelphia fueled annual speculation that Murray would be dismissed, but he'll return for his 9th season as Capitals coach. Well, Calgary leads the Chicago Blackhawks 1-0 after one period of play. Pretty interesting period it was. Jiggs McDonald and Herb Brooks are standing by at the Olympic Saddledome. Mike?
Jiggs, and Herb, how are the Calgary Flames, the players, taking this series? Do you sense that there's any overconfidence? Do you think that can hurt them in the long run?
I think it would hurt them if there were any, but I didn't sense any around here today, Mike. Talking to a lot of the players, they were anxious to get on to this series, and nobody seemed to be taking Chicago for granted. If anything, they were impressed with the job that they did against Calgary and St. Louis before getting here.
Well, I think that's exactly right. Mike, there is no overconfidence here by the Calgary Flames. As Jake said, they've got respect. The few times they played them during the year, they said, this is a good hockey club, especially the last time they played them. So I think Calgary, by virtue of the first period, they're ready for this game.
Each team had 3 power play opportunities in the period. Herb, with the telestrator, is going to show us what Chicago was doing with their opportunity.
Well, Chicago likes to get into what we'll call as an umbrella. It's a 1-2-2 situation, and if we see this on the telestrator right now, their key guys are going to be from here to here with a couple of guys down deep, tipping and screening. Now, as we just erase this and let the camera go, we'll see how this thing evolves. There's going to be a pass coming back to the point, right through here now, and they try to set this guy up for the shot or for, an outlet pass. And there's the two guys down deep on that situation. And again, they try to overload, and they try to create 2-on-1s or 3-on-2s down deep. And a guy that top of the circle who would do a lot will be Dennis Savard. And again, they throw that thing around there. And also down deep, Stevie Larmer can put it away.
Chicago had only 5 shots on goal in that first period. They're trailing 1-0. We get set for the second period at the Olympic Saddledome, and we'll return to Calgary after these messages.
Sports Channel is more than the exclusive national carrier of the Stanley Cup playoffs. Sports Channel Pro Boxing Tour, the World Basketball League, Ladies Tour, exciting amateur baseball featuring Team USA, thoroughbred horse racing, and more. Sports Channel, prime-time sports, 7 nights a week. The 1989 Stanley Cup playoffs, brought to you by Budweiser. Beechwood aged for that clean, crisp taste. This Bud's for you.
Nature's light, bathing fields of grain, enriching full, fresh hops, giving life to sparkling streams, nourishing all the natural things that go into making Bud Light. The light beer that's Beechwood aged for a clean, fresh taste that makes Bud Light the one light that outshines them all.
Hi, I'm Michael J. Fox, the reason number 1 to enjoy NHL hockey. Winning.
A shot, let it go! Simpson scores! Rebound, and they score! Here's Sutter trying to work the back, and he scores! The Flyers win it! Hawks win! And the Rangers will win!
Get the action reaction, watch NHL hockey.
From the draw, the Calgary Flames handling the puck, and then Merzen shot one off the back of Wayne Presley. He goes immediately to the Chicago bench. Calgary up 1-0 as this period gets underway and just dumped it down the ice. Chevrier held it up at the side of the net, and here's Brown on that Chicago defense trying the left side. Wayne Sutter unable to get anything generated. Now Basson bumped from behind. McGinnis gets hammered after he clears it the length of the ice. Chevrier moves it around to the right side for Brown. The defenseman bounces one off the boards and ends up eventually in the Calgary players' bench. We're going to face off in the center ice area. Joey Neuendijk shoveling his way down the Calgary bench as Terry Crisp sends out a fresh forward line. 48 seconds into the second period. It'll be Otto coming out with McDonald and Pavlinski. Game 2 of this series will be here at the Olympic Saddledome on Thursday. And the series moves to Chicago for games on Saturday and again next Monday. Otto and Troy Murray lining up. Linesman Swede Knox puts the puck in play. Calgary holds it at the line. There's McCowan with a shot that was deflected. Yanni picks up Lanny McDonald back in the net, and McGill moves the puck around to the far side. They feed it on to Graham. Graham over center ice, sends Troy Murray over the line. He tries to get in around McCowan and can't do it. McDonald picks it up for the Flames and is bumped by Dirk Graham. Then McDonald hit harder on the play. Good check thrown by Greg Gilbert. Chicago tightening up at their own blue line. Mattress plays it down the left wing boards. It's picked up by Graham. The pass to Yanni. McDonald right on him immediately. And at center ice, some pushing and shoving, and referee Dave Newell spots a slash. 1-0, Calgary leading, and the penalty call coming here against Chicago.
Travel arranged through Northwest Airlines, which proudly introduces the most comfortable plane to the Orient, the state-of-the-art 747-400. Northwest, the most experienced airline across the Pacific.
Now the Blackhawks are going to be shorthanded for the fourth time tonight as Dirk Graham picks up a slashing penalty. It's called 1 minute and 27 seconds into the second period, so obviously referee Dave Newell is picking up where he left off in the first period, Herb.
Well, this is what Joey Mullen said in the intermission. Newell is calling a lot, and it was awful tough for Chicago to get into the play and into the flow because they just got off to a tough start because of the penalties. And it took them a long time, almost like the 10, 11 minute mark before they could, start getting their legs. And it's tough because you don't get to use the whole bench.
Saw Graham come back with what they call a two-hander across Pavlinski. Graham off for slashing. Chicago killing it off here with Larmer and Presley up front. Fleury out on the power play is hanging to standing at the Chicago blue line. Lube carries the puck over center ice. Moves in. Fleury heads to the side of the net. Now goes back in the net to get a stick on it. Giving it to Lube. Into Neuendijk. Drops it behind the net. Chevrier left it there for Larmer. Neuendijk steps in front of him as Larmer cleared the zone, and McGinnis waits for his teammates to come back before shooting it in off the stick of Larmer. Dave Manson dumps it out to center ice, picked up by Ramage. For Fleury, it went off his stick. Fleury and Yanni meet at the blue line, and Yanni recovers the puck. Dropped it back, and Manson one-times it, shooting at the length of the ice. 1 minute, 12 seconds remaining in the penalty to Graham of Chicago. This is McGinnis for Calgary, going to the right side. Joel Otto dumps it in. Jeffrey handling the puck. There would have been an icing had he let it go. Now Otto drops it back. Here's Ramage through a screen, wide of the net. Mullen can't get a stick on it. It's picked up by Denny Savard, and he's cleared it down the ice. 48 seconds left. The Calgary power play. Al McGinnis pulls away from Savard. The pass to Ramage. Over the line on the left side. He dropped it to Mullen. Savard picks up the checking job on Mullen. Knocked him off the puck momentarily. Now Gilmore from back of the net tries to center. Nobody in the slot. He puts it out. It's tipped away from Mullen. Picked up by Ramage. Into Mullen. To Ramage. To McGinnis. McGinnis through a screen. It's tipped. Chevrier down. Mullen the rebound. He can't get a stick on it. Chevrier slides out to cover the puck, and there's no further play.
I think Joey Mullen would like to have that one over, Jigs. He jumped in a loose puck and he tried to just get it up to his forehand, and he couldn't get it, and he just stopped, just shook his head. Again, Joel Otto tipping and screening, take people. Someone's got to take them. And then when you do that, now you create the manpower advantage, and there it is right there. Joey Mullen jumping into it. He tried to just get the thing out of that traffic to his forehand. He could not do it. But you don't get a manpower advantage until you get in there tipping and screening. And here it is. All of a sudden, Joel Otto jumps in. There's where people come in off the top of those circles. And Joey Mullen, as I said, would love to have that again, because you give that guy that chance, he's going to bury it.
See the numbers career-wise as far as what Chevrier has done in games against the Calgary Flames. Chevrier, what a story. A year ago, wasn't involved in the playoffs when the New Jersey Devils went to the semifinals, losing to the Boston Bruins. Now the team's at 6 aside, and Calgary comes over center, led by Lube. Left side to Roberts. Moves in and then gets checked with the whistle that nullified the rush. Calgary moving in offside. The only goal of the game scored by McCowan at the 10:18 mark of the opening period. It's still 1-0 Calgary.
Retinitis pigmentosa knows no age, an eye disease that affects young and old alike. RP slowly narrows your vision, often resulting in blindness. There's no cure for RP yet, but it doesn't have to be that way. Your support of the RP Foundation could be the great save for thousands of people. RP needs your help. I'm Wayne Gretzky. Support the RP Foundation.
Chicago sending out a line that has Roenick on the right side. Moving over on the left side of this line for the Blackhawks at the moment is Steve Thomas. Chicago coach Mike Keenan juggling things a little bit. Brown checked at the blue line. Back comes Thomas, and he's given it to Conroy. Long shot ends up behind the net, handled there by Vernon. Now Merzen back for it. Plays it down the ice. Wide of Chevrier. Going to go through the goal crease. No, that'll be an icing against Calgary, and a lot of the folks dispute that call. The puck goes anywhere through that goal crease area, the semicircle in front of the net. Icing is waved off. No dispute from the Calgary Flames.
Dana Mercer was coming around the net. He had his hands tied. He was scared he was going to cuff that thing up right around his goalkeeper, so he just took the opportunity to try to get it on the net down the other way, but it missed, bringing that faceoff down to his own.
Now the Flames making some player changes, excuse me. And speaking of playoffs, let's take a look and see just how close this was to being an icing call.
Well, it was very close. There's no question about it. A matter of a couple of feet. And it was a good play by Dana Mercer. I'd rather get the face-off than cough something up in front of the net.
Good thing John McEnroe isn't playing this game, huh? He put up a dispute about the line. On the draw, the puck comes back to Manson for a shot. That went off Basson. Recovered by Natras, and the Flames able to clear it out. They pick it up again at center as Otto feeds. Poplinski shoots up high. The rebound. Chevrier down, covers the puck. Made the initial save and then recovers neatly. Seemed to be shaken up after making that first save.
Joel Otto was able to come up with a rebound. Chevrier stopped it but couldn't get it underneath him. Otto jumped on the thing, and there was just a little breakdown in Chicago in the neutral zone. That's what caused that thing. They were able to pick that thing off. Davey Manson just gambled for it and lost the thing. And again, a quick transition, quick counterattack by Calgary. Shot, and again, that center forward going to the net. That's going to cave something in, and if nobody picks him up, he's going to find himself wide open for rebounds.
Numbers from the first period, as you see Calgary dominating, winning 16 of the 24 faceoffs in the first 20 minutes of play tonight.
Over 60 minutes. That's going to tell a big story.
They win the draw again, getting it back to McCowan for a shot. Chevrier, the stop and the rebound, jumped over McDonald's stick and is brought out by Van Dorp. Fires one off the defenseman Natras. Van Dorp with it. Shot one high. Vernon got in front of it. And back to the net. McCowan moves it up to Poplinski. On to Otto. Back to Poplinski. Van Dorp steps in front of them. They jostle at one another. The arm of referee Dave Buell up in the air, and there'll be another penalty. Buell indicating a high stick call. 15 minutes, 18 seconds remaining in the second period as Van Dorp goes to the penalty box.
Hatfield, Quinn Graff.
do more than keep time. They keep you ahead of your time.
The fifth power play of the night for the Calgary Flames. And Dorp for high sticking at 4:42, getting the number up here on Poplinski.
A little over-aggressive play. Wasn't so bad right there, but when you turn around and you take a look at it, Van Dorp just spun around and got that stick right around Poplinski's ears. And again, Chicago, we said before, their penalty killing has been very good in the playoffs, but just don't keep playing with fire here, because Calgary's going to burn you. And this second goal here is going to be a big one.
Neuendijk steps in to take the draw. Lube and Fleury up front as well. On defense, it's Ramage and McGinnis for Calgary. Graham and Larmer killing it off for Chicago. The defense combination is Yanni and Manson. Reed Knox taking a lot of time before dropping the puck. Now waves Neuendijk out of the face-off circle. In steps Fleury. That's Neuendijk. The markings after he'd been cut in the opening period. Ramage handles the puck. And it's intercepted. Here's Larmer trying to get a step on Ramage. Steps around him, gets checked from behind, then centers it, but behind Dirk Graham. What a play by Ramage. Meantime, Lube carries it over the line. He's given it to Fleury, who centers one that's blocked by Yanni. Yanni trying to go to the corner. Neuendijk checked him. Here's Fleury. Feeds it to the point. Ramage sets up McGinnis. His shot deflected off the goalpost. Comes to the right side for Lube, to Ramage. Into Lube, who could not get a stick on it. Manson runs into Neuendijk back in the net. Here's Lube. Sets it up for Fleury. Neuendijk parked in front. They feed it to the line. McGinnis faked it, then centers it across. Lube and Neuendijk fanned on the one-time effort. Here's Dirk Graham shooting it the length of the ice. Quickly, it's played out by Vernon to McGinnis. Up it goes to Fleury. Turned back by Conroy's check, and now McGinnis dumps it across the line. Otto had been knocked down in the play. James held it to the line, but now Otto trying to set it up for McGinnis, dumped it outside the blue line. James regroup at center. Ramage set it up to Otto. Knocked off his stick, recovered by Presley. Moves up on Ramage. Can't go around the veteran defenseman, and there's McGinnis back on the play for Calgary. Giving it to Ramage. Up the boards to Gilmore. Calgary with the man advantage come over the line. Otto and Savard go to the corner together. The puck taken out of the skates of Otto. They get it to the line for McGinnis. McGinnis, big booming shot. Stick save. The rebound. Oh, Mullen slapped it wide. He was set up beautifully by Gilmore. Doug Gilmore from back of the net. Feeds the point. McGinnis a drive. Good stop again by Chevrier. It bounces right back. Has it in the catching glove and holds on. Oh, the Flames will be talking about this one. You see the expression on the face of Joey Mullen. He had a wide open net and missed by about an inch and a half.
Jigs, did you put the kiss of death on him in that first intermission interview? Now, this is something you don't see too often. This is the second time Joey Mullen's had a great opportunity. Again, he gets a great clearing pass there by Gilmore. Wide open net. And again, that was the problem. It was a wide open net, and all he had to do was bury it. And he hesitated just a little bit. And again, it looked like he did on the heel of his stick. Dougie Gilmore just walking out. Nice pass. Joey Mullen looked on the heel of his stick and just missed it.
And how about this play at the other end of the ice? Steve Larmer stealing the pass. Back comes Ramage. The folks watching in Denver tonight will remember this man. Look at the job he does here.
Well, he did make a good play, but he made a good play after a bad pass, Jigs.
It's still 1-0, and now only 3 seconds remaining in the Calgary man advantage, and their rush is broken up again. Graham from center ice. Long shot off Burnson's stick. On into the seats. 13 minutes, 14 seconds remaining. You look at Dirk Graham. Much traveled, Dirk Graham. He's really found a home in Chicago. This is his second season with the Blackhawks. And you see the confidence that they have in him. Making him the captain, taking those honors away from Savard. Savard missed 20 games this season with injuries. And Graham became the captain of the club.
He's done a good job, no question. He's paid a price to get in the National Hockey League. Spent 4 years in the International League. Was signed by the Minnesota North Stars as a free agent and traded over for Kurt Fraser.
Speaking of the International League, their playoffs resume tomorrow night in Milwaukee. Game 4, Calgary's farm team, Salt Lake, leading 2-1 in that series. A best-of-7 semifinal. They play again on Thursday, so it's back-to-back. tomorrow and Thursday in Milwaukee. Muskegon and Fort Wayne resume their series tomorrow night. Muskegon leading 3-0. And a delayed offside called here as Larmer picked up the puck deep in the Calgary zone. 22 years ago tonight, the Toronto Maple Leafs won the Stanley Cup, and I'm not sure if he, she, or those people were there. But 22 years ago, the last of the original 6, as it's referred to, the last year before expansion, the Leafs beat Montreal 3-1, won the series 4-2. Spring of 1967.
I'm not going to say nothing about that woman in the stands, just whether she was there or not. You get yourself into it, you get yourself out of it.
Thanks, Herb.
I would just make it worse.
What we'd explain the duties.
All right, James.
Chicago trying to move the puck around the boards in the Calgary end of the ice. Referee Dave Buell yelling at them to move it. They do, getting it to Conroy. He comes out of the corner, putting in the goal mouth, and it's covered now by Mike Vernon. Let's pause now for a regional break. You're watching the Stanley Cup playoffs on Sports Channel.
Sports Channel Profile, Rick Tuckett of the Philadelphia Flyers.
Toronto fans were split with Montreal and Toronto, and I used to like the Montreal Canadiens. The reason I like Montreal is they could play in any way you wanted to play, tough, fast, or finesse. I've always loved Guy Lafleur, the way he played. He's got a flamboyant style about him, and he came to play every night, and you know, it's good to see him back in the NHL again. He's definitely my favorite.
Rick Tuckett playing tough for Philadelphia as they go for the ultimate goal, the Stanley Cup on Sports Channel.
Game's at 6 aside as they line up for a face-off in the Calgary end of the ice. Chicago with only one shot on goal through the first 7.5 minutes of the second period. The Flames have had 8. 22-6 are the shots on goal in favor of Calgary. Forechecking of Van Dorp, knocking the puck away from Natras. Centered one, but couldn't get it to the stick of Creighton. Now Yanni plays it back to the net. Manson races in off the right point. Set it up for Creighton. A backhander into the skates of Vernon. Comes loose in front and is cleared out of there by McCowan. McDonald can't pick it up again at center. There's Otto with a neat pass to Poplinski. Poplinski centers. McDonald moves in but can't get a stick on it. Van Dorp for Chicago. The big forward moves it up through center ice. Creighton, Presley, and Van Dorp. The forward line for Chicago. Loose puck at center ice. Covered now by Van Dorp. Banks it off the boards. Natras moves it up, but right to Van Dorp. He dumps it in. Chicago gets back onside, but Calgary handling the puck with a pass to McDonald. He's rubbed out on the boards by Conroy. Blackhawks move it up through center ice again. Here's Gilmore for the Flames. He sidestepped neatly. The move by Troy Murray. Graham has trouble picking it up. Wayne Sutter recovers, brings it over center ice. Sutter across the line is giving it to Graham for a shot. Just missed on the stick side. Centered by Conroy. Patterson broke it up and clears it out to center. Mullen chasing it. Mullen trying to get a step on Brown. Neat move by Brown to get back and knock it loose. Graham knocks Mervson down as Conroy goes for the puck. Lays it up the left side. Wayne Sutter able to move it down the left wing boards. Here's Troy Murray. Murray trying to center it. Back to Gilmore. Robert steps over the line for Calgary. Shoots off the chest protector of Chevrier. The puck loose momentarily. And now cleared out by Dave Manson to Graham. At center ice, Yanni dumps it in. We welcome those of you in our Sports Channel Florida audience. Welcome to the Olympic Saddledome in Game 1 of the Campbell Conference Championship round between the Blackhawks and the Flames. Calgary leading 1-0 on a first period goal by Jamie McCowan. They've had the territorial edge. Chevrier has come up big, as has Vernon, on the rare times that he's been tested. Jeremy Roenick for Chicago, battling for it on the boards. He's without a stick at the moment, and Roberts knocked it out of his skates. Brent Yanni for Chicago. Moved it up the left side. Greg Gilbert has played it in back of the net, and there's Vernon using the left wing boards for the pass to Fleury on to Loog. Conroy picks him up as he comes through center ice. Loog parks just inside the line, and his pass is cut off by Larmer. Shot back in by the Flames. Boy, Neuendijk is being attended to at the Calgary bench as that long shot by Thomas is wide of the net. And McKinnon plays it out through center right. Conroy hustling back for Chicago. That's Tim Hunter into forecheck, stepping into Conroy. Ryan McClellan and Fleury trying to control the puck. It's knocked loose by the Blackhawks. Sutter with a pass to Savard. He comes over the line. Savard can't get through the traffic, and here's Ryan McClellan. Former Minnesota North Star sends Fleury down the left side. He cuts to the right. Yanni chases him toward the corner, and Fleury puts it back of the net. Savard there for Chicago. Battling Tim Hunter on the play. Now Fleury gets it to Hunter. He is checked, and Dwayne Sutter starts up, but back to the play, a slashing penalty. Chicago running into another one. We pause now for a regional break. You're watching the Stanley Cup playoffs.
Coming in May, it looks like basketball, feels like basketball, so it must be basketball. Presenting the World Basketball League. Get ready for a summer of exciting hoops action. The WBL's height limit of 6 feet 5 inches makes it a faster, more dynamic game, featuring some of America's top former college talent. The WBL also includes teams from the Soviet Union, Greece, and Italy, making it truly a World Basketball League. Look for it starting in May, only on Sports Channel.
Savard in the penalty box for slashing. This now is the 6th Calgary power play opportunity.
Well, Jimmy Poplitsky again just coming in there. David Manson again giving him to the outside. He sort of opens the gap, takes him into the board. Now you take another look here at Joey Mullen. He was trying to protect that puck with his body, but Keith Brown just took the extra stride, paid the price, keep on it working, was able to poke that check off Joey Mullen's, the puck off his stick. Good play on both ends of the ice.
Otto lining up for the faceoff. Kurt Graham on the draw for Chicago. Mullen and Manson pushing at one another. The puck put in play. It comes back to Rami. Up and around the boards in the Chicago end of the ice. There's Gilmore setting up Otto. There's it back to Rami. And McGinnis. McGinnis, a booming shot through a screen is blocked. And Manson is able to move it out to center ice for Larmer. Larmer using the boards, forces Calgary all the way back, and Chicago goes for a player change. Presley and Creighton pick up the penalty killing as Mullen handles the puck at center with a pass to Otto to Gilmore. Got it back to the stick, then couldn't get a good shot away. Took another poke at it before being knocked down. Here's Mullen setting up on the board. Cross-ice pass is blocked by Creighton. Held in by McGinnis. Otto handling it back in the net is slammed on the boards by Conroy. To help out is Adam Creighton. The puck freed up. They get it back to McGinnis. Now to Ramage. One timed it off the heel of his stick and off the goalkeeper's stick as well. Shane Presley is able to clear it out for Chicago. It's picked up by McGinnis. Lead pass to Neuendijk. Breaks right in on goal. He shoots. He scores! Joey Neuendijk took 3 stitches after being cut. He just gives Calgary a 2-0 lead. Good pass, Herb.
Well, it was a great pass by Al McGinnis, but Joey Neuendijk again just jumped off the bench, and he saw Chicago's defenseman split, and he jumped right in between them. Again, went to his backhand. Nice shot. Maybe 7 or 8. Went down a little bit too early. Got to go out and come back with it, but again, they give Neuendijk a lot of credit there by seeing Chicago's defense split, coming off the bench, and a great heads-up pass by Al McGinnis. Again, maybe in that neutral zone. Calgary's played a little more of an intelligent game in neutral zone. They've won the race to the center red line. They've had manpower advantages. Chicago's got to adjust, and their weak side defenseman has to cave in and protect his defensive partner.
Neuendijk getting his 6th goal of the playoffs. The first power play goal in this game, and that was the 6th opportunity for Calgary. And on that particular power play, they had 4 shots. The 4th one by Neuendijk. It's by Chevrier. Calgary leading now 2-0. And Dorf having trouble. Goes through traffic, then has it knocked off his stick by Neuendijk. And Van Dorp recovers, plays it on into the Calgary zone. Vernon plays it around to the left side for Roberts, but now play called. Referee Dave Newell spotting something while the net is off. We look at Alain Chevrier, formerly with the New Jersey Devils out of the University of Miami in Ohio. Paid his own way to go to school. Eventually got himself the job in a scholarship. Was not drafted in the NHL, but has proven to be an outstanding goalkeeper, except you and Dyke may have found a weakness there, Herb.
Well, this was the second goal Calgary scored in that 5-hole. They're just waiting him to go down. They might be saying, let him go down first, and it'll open up that 5-hole, then take it. You got to have some patience. You got to have presence of mind. Chevrier is a good goalkeeper. He's played very well for Chicago, and he played very well, as you said, Jigs, for New Jersey before Sean Burke arrived on the scene.
Look at the numbers on the left and extreme right, 27-7. You want to try those in the lottery tomorrow. 27 shots on goal by Calgary, 7 by Chicago. And the Blackhawks are down 2-0.
Calgary's had quality shots and quantity.
They sure have. We still have just over 7 minutes remaining in this second period. Basson for Chicago. Dumps it in. Into forecheck goes Graham. Now Bob Murray comes in. Got the puck to Basson on right wing. Can't set up Murray. Otto ties up Basson back to the net. Brad McCrimmon feeds the right side to McDonald. Poplinski moves up with him as McDonald dumps it in. Poplinski takes it off the board. Centers. McDonald is covered. Here's Dirk Graham for the Blackhawks. Over to Dave Manson. Check by Fleury. Waits for McDonald to get back onside. Gives him the puck. He shoots. Chevrier the stop, and then Sutter cleared the rebound. Poplinski centers, and it jumped over the stick of Fleury. Out comes Basson. He and Graham at center. 2-on-2, and Basson dumps it in. Vernon quickly plays it up the boards to Fleury. They catch Chicago to change. But Fleury dumps it in now. Backboard is Larmer. Larmer takes it behind the net. Managed to get it to the right side for McGill. Back to Larmer. He's over the Calgary line. Knocked off the puck there. And this is McClellan. Fleury. Fleury checked at the Calgary blue line. Greg Gilbert, who was acquired at the trading deadline from the New York Islanders, sets it up, but it's offside as he fed it to Larmer. He was waiting just inside the Calgary blue line.
Looking at Terry Chris with the Calgary bench was kind of upset with Fleury. He's taking too long of a shift. He's yelling, get out of there. Gilmore is ready to go. Again, he was tired. You stay out there that extra stride all of a sudden. Then you're in a checking situation going back into your defensive zone tired.
Tomorrow night, Philadelphia and Montreal. The Flyers with a big 3-1 victory last night, getting a couple of shorthanded goals. Game action, 7:30 Eastern Time. And then the following evening, Thursday night, this series resumes. The Blackhawks and the Flames from the Olympic Saddle Dome, 9:30 Eastern Time. Check your local listings for game coverage in your area. From overhead, we see them line up for this face-off. That's Creighton, number 22 for Chicago, against Joel Otto, number 29 for Calgary. McGinnis flipped one up in the air that lands in the Chicago zone. The veteran defenseman Keith Brown rushes it down the left wing board. It into the corner. Presley in after it. Trying to tie up Burzin. Poplinski moves it to the right wing boards. McDonald got checked in the play. There's Creighton. He's unable to center it. Van Dorp comes off the boards, but then got checked. This is McDonald. Lanny McDonald got his 500th NHL goal this season. Passed the 1,000-point mark as well. What a key factor in Calgary's sweep of the Los Angeles Kings. Happened a week ago last night. Now the puck dumped in. It'll be picked up by McCowan. Went to the right side. Jumped off the stick of Natras. McCowan comes up through center ice. The pass to right wing for Gilmore. Gilmore centers. Oh, and Mullen is knocked down at the side of the net. Out comes Roenick with a pass through center, but out of the reach of Thomas. Gilmore got bumped. Wayne Sutter stepping into him, and now the collision with Roenick. Gilmore maintained his balance, but lost control of the puck. Wayne Sutter unable to pick it up in the Calgary zone. They feed it neatly to Gilmore. Bob Murray checks him at the blue line, and that puts the play offside. Just a little less than 5 minutes remaining in the second period.
I'm Jim Martindale, and I'd like to tell you about the garden weasel. This 5-in-1 tool makes gardening fun and easy. The 3 rotary blades mesh with the topsoil, uprooting young weeds and creating a beneficial mulch. The Weasel cultivates to a uniform 2-inch depth. Remove the center blade for working around plants and vegetables. Use 1 blade for hard-to-reach areas. Made of a rust-free alloy, the Weasel is virtually self-cleaning. The Garden Weasel. Look for this display.
At True Value, Ace, Service Star, Sentry, Trustworthy, and ProMart Hardware.
Jakes McDonald and Herb Brooks at the sold-out Olympic Saddle Dome in Calgary, where the Flames lead 2-0. Calgary pushed to a 7th game in that opening round against Vancouver, winning in overtime, thrilling overtime. And they swept Los Angeles. Chicago got here after having eliminated Detroit in 6 games. Needed 5 games to eliminate the St. Louis Blues. Roy Murray from back of the net. Center boards back into the Calgary zone. There's Dana Merzen. Just dumps it down the ice. A race for it here. Brown trying to outplay Patterson, and Brown gets to it first. That'll be icing against the Flames. Scoring at this period, shots on goal. Calgary with 15 now. Chicago with only 2.
Well, it's telling the tale. Starting to turn. Again, for Chicago to get back into the game, they've got to have a little bit more creative, intelligent offense. Their forward groups outside of Creighton and Van Dorp are not all that big. They've got ability. They should try to do something a little more creative with the puck, try to come up with some shots. There's too much dumping and trying to get it back, and they're not getting it back as Calgary's standing them up. The weak side defense is getting the puck, and they're turning around and coming right out, and they're beating all Chicago's forechecks.
Keith Brown and Patterson in this race for the puck. You saw Brown a moment ago being attended to at the Chicago bench. He seemed to turn on his ankle. They're already without veteran defenseman Doug Wilson. Wilson may be able to play in Game 2 here on Thursday night. Possibly not Thursday. If not Thursday, then Saturday when the series goes back to Chicago. But here's the veteran Brown and Patterson.
I think he might have turned that ankle. Again, they miss Dougie Wilson. Of course, Calgary misses Gary Suter.
Brown, a 10-year veteran of the National Hockey League. Savard has just completed his 9th season. He's there to take the face-off for the Blackhawks. Out with Gilbert and Larmer and Vernon. There's the puck out of the goal mouth. The delayed penalty call coming against Calgary. Greg Gilbert centers one. Here's Manson for a shot. That's blocked. It comes back to the blue line, picked up by Savard. They get the extra man on, but not before they can get into the play. And referee Dave Newell indicates a holding penalty. He gets a mild protest from Calgary defenseman Al McGinnis, who trails him toward the penalty box. This is the first penalty of the 2nd period to go against Calgary.
Jake's Dave Newell has been calling everything under the sun. I didn't quite get a look at that thing, but again, it was another soft penalty. I can see something right at the start of the game, get control of the game and let them settle down and play. But now we're just passing on almost to the end of the 2nd period. A little soft holding penalty in front of the Calgary net there. Again, if we can pick up Al McGinnis where he said he's holding him, look for number 2. And he grabbed his stick just a little bit through there. I don't know.
Took a liking to Greg Gilbert's stick. Debris on the ice. That'll be picked up before the puck is dropped. Still 3.5 minutes remaining in the 2nd period. On the power play for Chicago, Creighton centers for Larmer and Savard. The lone man back is Bob Murray as Manson moves up on the edge of the circle to the left of Creighton. Larmer drops it back to Murray. Over to Dave Manson. Manson threw a screen. It was deflected wide of the net. Snapped around the boards by McCowan. Bob Murray couldn't hold it in. Manson hustles back for the Blackhawks. 4th power play of the game for Chicago. They trail 2-0 and have trouble coming out here. Manson had difficulty handling the puck. Now gives it to Bob Murray. Up to Creighton. Lays it in off the boards. Chasing it is Savard. Mattress just reached in and knocked it away from him. The Blackhawks do hold it in. Bob Murray with a shot. Pad saved by Vernon. They seem to be screened, but stuck the left pad out. Now Bob Murray sets it up for Manson. Back to Murray. Murray being watched by Lou. Gave it to Manson across to Savard. The Manson lets it go, and that drifted wide of the net. Here's Savard. And it rolls off the stick. 1 minute remaining now in the Chicago power play. They get caught in a player change and have just dumped the puck in. McCowan back, gives it away. Bob Murray with a shot, blocked by Natras. Murray picks it up in the corner, looks for some help. Found it in the person of Troy Murray. Over to Manson, into Graham. Graham centers, that's tipped wide off the stick of Troy Murray. Bob Murray now slips it up back of the net for Steve Thomas. To Kirk Graham. He is checked by McCowan, but they fail to clear it out. Manson puts it in the corner. McCowan in a battle for it with Thomas. In comes Troy Murray. He's given it to the blue line. Manson right back to Troy Murray. Right on him immediately, but now Graham centers one. Bob Murray can't get the shot away. A little better power play here for Chicago, but it results in zip. And Calgary shoots it down the ice.
That's correct, Jake. Chicago looked very smart on that power play. They're going to that little umbrella again, but Calgary's able to stifle it because their weak side forward is caving in and helping out that defenseman.
They moved it around well, Herb, but got only one shot on goal, and now the teams are at 6 aside again. Calgary up 2-0 with 1.5 minutes remaining in the second period. Presley puts one in front. Ronick was too well covered. Here's Presley stepping out of the corner. Wayne Presley hounded on the play by Gilmore. Presley shakes the check, goes to the backhand, centers one. Good stop by Vernon. Blackhawks get to it again. The rookie Ronick centers. Gilmore takes Presley off the puck. Presley recovers, steps from back of the net. Comes out in front of the centering attempt is deflected wide. Now McGill lets it go, and that's wide of the net. Johnny held it in at the left point. All the way around to McGill, who pitches in. Broken up, but out come the Flames. Mullen down the left side. Over the line, Gilmore trailing, heads to the net. Mullen cuts in, and the puck is knocked away from him. This is Ronick backhanding it up through center ice. It's skipped away from McCowan and back on the Flames. Into forecheck as Larmer stepped into McCowan as Creighton holds it in. Adam Creighton with a shot that's just wide. Jamie McCowan for the Flames goes up the right wing boards. Ottawa ahead of him. He goes to the opposite side for Patterson. Hansen got back to check him and take him down in center ice. There'll be a penalty to McCowan. He took the feet out from under Larmer, and with 18 seconds left in the second period, the Calgary Flames are running into, well, it's going to be a high sticking penalty, and it appears to be going, yes, Jamie McCowan.
There's a great opportunity for Chicago to get back in this ball game. They only have 18 seconds to convert it, or just get one right at the start of the third period. You gotta look at Jamie McCowan just working hard. He just might have pulled him down, got a stick under the upper part of the body and just pull him. McCowan, a very strong defenseman. Larmer lost his footing, but from the angle where Newell, the referee, was, he looked like it was, again, he just pulled him down pretty heavily.
Well, the Blackhawks with their 5th power play opportunity of this game. McCowan for a high sticking. Only 18 seconds left in the period. Adam Creighton will face off against Otto. One foot in the Chicago zone, and Patterson plays it back of the net. Time for one rush, perhaps. Hansen fed it from the left side for Creighton. Can't get around Otto at center ice. Hansen chases it back. Plays it to the right wing boards. Larmer lets it go, and that'll do it for the second period. Calgary gets the only goal on a power play, and again they dominate the action. And a tough period for that man, as goaltender Alain Chevrier. But it's Calgary up 2-0 as we return to our Sports Channel studios in New York.
Thanks, Jigs. I'm Lee Zeidman along with Hartford goalie Mike Liut. The NBA playoffs are over for Boston and Philadelphia. We'll update that postseason between periods.
Will the Flyers try to avenge Brian Propp in Game 2 of the Wales Conference Final? We'll find out.
Plus an interview with one of Mike Liut's, one of his favorite goalies, Hall of Famer Glenn Hall. We'll be back after this.
The Stanley Cup playoffs keep getting hotter, and the competition gets a lot tougher. Hockey's Final Four battle for the right to be in the finals. The champions in the Smythe and Norris divisions battle for the crown in the Campbell, while the survivors of the Patrick and Adams division wars duke it out for the Wales championship. From the opening face-off to the final seconds of play, you won't miss a shot as hockey's Final Four go for the ultimate goal. The Stanley Cup Conference Finals on Sports Channel tomorrow. The Adams Division champion Montreal Canadiens, a team rich in tradition with 22 championships to their credit. This team is considered by many to have the tools to win it all. They dispatched an aggressive Hartford Whalers team in 4 straight and avenged last year's playoff loss to their hated rivals, the Boston Bruins. Now, Les Habitants will reach deep into their bag of tricks as they take on the Patrick Division champions and go for their second cup title in 4 years. The Stanley Cup Conference Finals on Sports Channel.
There really is cause to cheer for Bravo, and you're invited to enjoy our truly extraordinary films and specials. Discover the Bravo difference and rediscover what television was meant to be. Bravo, exciting, innovative, and extraordinarily entertaining.
I love it.
You will too, so watch cable TV that's really different. It's Bravo. Call your local cable company today.
Sports Channel means more to sports fans than our exclusive national coverage of the Stanley Cup playoffs, straight through to the finals. It's the Sports Channel Pro Boxing Tour, highlighting today's heaviest hitters. The World Basketball League, a fast-breaking hoops game with a truly international flavor. Sports Channel is also the home of the Ladies Pro Bowlers Tour, exciting amateur baseball featuring Team USA, and Sports Nightly for up-to-the-minute scores and highlights. Sports Channel, primetime sports and more, 7 nights a week.
We're at the end of the second period at the Olympic Saddle Dome with the Calgary Flames leading the Chicago Blackhawks 2-0. Jamie McCowan scored for Calgary midway through the first period, his third goal in the playoffs. It was 1-0 until Joe Nieuwendyk scored a power play goal at the 12:02 mark of the second period, set up at a neat pass by Al McGinnis. Calgary 1 of 6 in the man advantage thus far, and you see the way they've dominated. 29-9 are the shots on goal over 2 periods, and the Calgary Flames lead by a score of 2-0. This would be one of the great highlights in an 18-year career in the National Hockey League. Glenn Hall in goal for the Chicago Blackhawks. They win the Stanley Cup in the spring of 1961. 18 seasons in the league. You see the note on them as he sits in our studio here at the Olympic Saddle Dome tonight. Any mixed emotions, having won a Stanley Cup with the Chicago Blackhawks, now being a goaltending coach for the Calgary Flames, Glenn?
Oh, not mixed emotions, just great memories from the days of Chicago. And like, it was really nice looking at the goalkeeper stopping the puck. I didn't know that they permitted you to play back a goalkeeper stopping it, and that I enjoyed it. That's the first time I've ever seen me stop it.
Looking back at it a little, though, they jammed the goal crease in that era, too, huh?
They used to like to get a little tight. They used to talk about while he was pushed in, and I used to talk again. We saw Howe in the picture, and Gordy used to push the direction you wanted him to, that he wanted to go. Like I say, well, how come we can't push it in the direction we want him to go? It was difficult.
Bring us now to 1989, if you will, Glenn, and your job as a goaltending coach. At this stage of the season, into the Stanley Cup semifinals, can you coach a goaltender?
Well, I don't think you ever coach a goalkeeper. I think that what I do, I talk about the importance of preparation and that you have to be ready. You're obviously a quality goalkeeper. You've come this far, and just to be ready, and you should be successful because you are a good goalkeeper.
You had a little difficulty, maybe not in preparing when you were playing, but certainly the day of the game wasn't one of your favorite times, was it?
Well, I enjoyed it. Like, I've heard a lot of things that I couldn't have under conditions, but I believe that you have to be prepared. And preparation is whatever it takes for you to get high enough to play well.
In one word, is goaltending the key to this series?
I think it's the key to Stanley Cup. It has been for a long time. Certainly you have to have a good team to complement the goalkeeping, but you can't win with poor goalkeeping.
10 seasons in a Chicago Blackhawk uniform, earning the title Mr. Goalie. Glenn Hall joining us here as the Chicago Blackhawks and the Calgary Flames do battle for the Clarence Campbell Bowl. Our intermission will continue. Lee Zeidman with an update on all the day's happenings on Sports Nightly, coming up right after these messages.
The completely different Mercury Cougar.
With speed-sensitive steering so ingenious it actually knows the difference between cornering and parking. All this handling and the quality of a Mercury.
Like a Mercury.
CCM 651 Tax. The only skate with vacuform. Heat molded to the exact shape of your foot. The only skate with heel lace, dual lacing that locks in perfect fit to transmit your power and control directly where you need it most, right into your game. 651 Tax by CCM. Turn on the power.
Hi, I'm Steve Eisman of the Detroit Red Wings with reason number 19 to enjoy NHL hockey. Breakaways.
They broke it up. He's in alone. He gets loose. One-on-one with the goalkeeper. Breakaway pass to Kelly Eklund.
Detroit may break it all alone. Yzerman.
Get the action, reaction. Watch NHL hockey.
Welcome back to Sports Channel Studios, New York. Lee Zeidman along with Mike Liut. Wales Conference Series resumes tomorrow night in Montreal. Canadiens lost game number 1, 3-1 last night, a game that saw an ugly incident along the boards in the second period. Montreal's Chris Chelios hammers Brian Propp with the elbow there. Propp hit the ice hard, suffered a severe concussion, definitely will miss game 2, perhaps the entire series. Will the Flyers retaliate tomorrow night?
If you want to win the Stanley Cup, you're going to have to bite your tongue and your lip type of thing, and we're going to hold back. But, you know, it's tough to swallow, you know. I'm sure, you know, if you get a chance to hit him, a clean hit, you're going to go out, you know, you're going to get a, you know, a good hit on him. And, you know, we can't afford to take a dirty penalty against him.
Well, you'll see the Flyers face off with the Habs at that hallowed Forum on St. Catherine Street, 7:30 tomorrow evening here on Sports Channel. Well, they made it sound diplomatic. They won't go after him unless they get a clean shot, but the Flyers aren't the kind of team to take this sort of thing lying down.
Well, I don't think they will. Ultimately, with Paul Holmgren behind the bench, you'll know that there'll be some subtle comments at least. I think that they'll take every available opportunity to take a run at Chelios, but I think that was their game plan anyway. Chris Chelios is a big star for the Canadiens, and he's certainly the catalyst. And any time that you can force him and take a hit against him and wear him down, that's part of the game plan.
The matchup of the nets in this series has really become an interesting one. Reggett filling in for Hextall has been superb. Waugh suffers his first defeat at home all season long, gave up 2 shorthanded goals. He has not performed well. Well,
It has been a layoff, and it is difficult at times, and he has lost his first game at home. That's not the end of the world. Ken Reggett is a good goaltender, and Bobby Clark went out. He did not feel comfortable with just having Ron Hextall and not having a replacement. So that's the theory behind Ken Reggett, and it's proved to be valid.
Hextall saying he'll be back in the nets as soon as he can. 2 coaches in the news. Los Angeles Kings fired Robbie Ftorek earlier this evening. Kings GM Rogie Vachon saying Ftorek was not the right guy for the team at the moment, while Washington handed Coach Brian Murray a 2-year contract extension. That'll carry Murray through an even 10 years as Capitals coach. In the NBA, New York Knicks sweep their first-round playoff series with Philadelphia in an overtime thriller at the Spectrum in Philadelphia. Overtime, Knicks trailing by a point. They are in control of the ball. Gerald Wilkins with the tough running jumper, and the Knicks are up by 1 with 6 seconds left. One last gasp for Philadelphia. Charles Barkley a chance to win it, but he's off target. The Knicks win 116-115. They sweep the series 3 straight. Elsewhere, Detroit eliminates Boston in 3 straight with a 15-point victory tonight. Atlanta in Milwaukee. In overtime, the Bucks beat them by 4. Phoenix can clinch its series with a win at Denver, but they trail in a big way. And Golden State looking to clinch an upset over the Midwest Division champion Utah Jazz. The Golden State Warriors lead by 4 at home in the second quarter. That's the news. Send you back to Calgary, period 3 after this.
This Stanley Cup score update is being brought to you by your Toyota dealer. Whatever car or truck you choose, you'll love the quality. Who could ask for anything more? MasterCard. You can count on MasterCard to help you master the moment. And Northwest Airlines, serving more of Asia than any other U.S. airline. Where can you find cable TV's newest source for up-to-the-minute sports scores, fast-breaking sports news, and highlights? The answer is Sports Nightly. Join Lee Zeidman Darryl Brunette, and Mike Breen before, during, and after each night's primetime event. You get updates on the evening's major sports events from the NHL to the NBA, baseball, and more. Plus, get expert commentary from our in-studio guests. Sports Nightly is cable TV's newest source for sports news, and you'll find it only on Sports Channel. Coming in May, it looks like basketball, feels like basketball, so it must be basketball. Presenting the World Basketball League. Get ready for a summer of exciting hoops action. The WBL's height limit of 6 feet 5 inches makes it a faster, more dynamic game, featuring some of America's top former college talent. The WBL also includes teams from the Soviet Union, Greece, and Italy, making it truly a World Basketball League. Look for it starting in May, only on Sports Channel. Sports Channel Profile, Rick Tuckett of the Philadelphia Flyers.
Toronto fans were split with Montreal and Toronto, and I used to like the Montreal Canadiens. The reason I like Montreal is they could play it any way you wanted to play, tough, fast, or finesse. I've always loved Guy Lafleur, the way he played. He's got a flamboyant style about him, and he came to play every night, and you know, it's good to see him back in the NHL again. He's definitely my favorite.
Rick Tuckett playing tough for Philadelphia as they go for the ultimate goal, the Stanley Cup on Sports Channel.
Calgary's extended its lead to 2-0 in front of Chicago after 2 periods of play. Time now to return to the Olympic Saddledome. Calgary, Jakes McDonald and Herb Brooks standing by. Mike?
Guys, how about that Chicago defense? I see them having a lot of trouble tonight.
Well, they are having a lot of trouble. The shots on goal bear that out, and I don't think they're getting a great deal of help from their forwards, are they, Herb?
Well, yeah, yes and no, but you know, good defense starts with some offense also. Not entirely, but with some. Chicago's got 9 shots. Every time they get the puck around over the center red line or approaching the blue line, they're dumping it. They're not winning anything off a dump puck. Their offense is not being creative. They're not getting any shots. 9 scoring shots, and then conversely, now, you know, they find themselves back on their heels all the time. That's the Chicago defense, and that's where the problem is originating from, Lee and Mike.
They get down 2-0 as we go to the telestrator here. We see the second Calgary goal coming up. It is a power play goal, and how did this develop?
Well, Jakes, the importance again of transition in the neutral zone, getting the puck up ice, winning the race at the red line. Also, Chicago gets caught in a bad change. There they got a, here's their bench right here. Their net is way far away. They got the long skate, so they have to be intelligent in their changing. Now here, if we stop it right here, stop that thing, we'll see McGinnis now, he's looking up ice. You're seeing a couple Chicago guys coming back. Now they're in a short-handed situation, and they're already 5-on-4, killing a penalty. And McGinnis is looking up ice right away. Now if we clear it and we come up ice, you'll see Nieuwendyk jumping off. Now stop this puck right here. You'll see Nieuwendyk coming off his bench, jumping right in here. And Chicago, here's a couple guys coming back from their bench. And now they're in trouble again with number 17, Wayne Presley, a forward, trying to fill in, but by now, Nieuwendyk gets inside position, and he's home free. Let's watch this thing develop. Nieuwendyk very intelligently protects the puck with his body, and again, waits for Chevrolet to go down, gets that 5-hole, and Presley has no chance. So the thing right there was a transition. Win the race to the red line with the manpower advantage. Watch the line changes in that situation. Excellent play by Calgary.
We'll see now if Chicago can get themselves back into this game. They're trailing 2-0. Third period action coming from the Olympic Saddledome in Calgary right after these messages.
The moment. There are those that take us by surprise. Sometimes real, or yet to be realized. That's why you can count on MasterCard at any given moment. In nearly 3 times the number of places as American Express. Wherever you happen to be, wherever the moment may find you. MasterCard. Master the moment.
So, you've just waxed your car, and you've discovered something very sad. Your car has a clear coat finish. If you've used ordinary wax, that finish is finished. New Simonized non-abrasive wax is different. It won't scratch today's clear coat finishes like ordinary wax. And that can save you a lot of grief.
Hi, I'm Ron Hextall of the Philadelphia Flyers with reason number 27 to enjoy NHL hockey. Great goaltending. Get the action, reaction. Watch NHL hockey.
As the third period gets underway, Chicago controlling the draw, and Manson dumps it into the Calgary zone. Flames are shorthanded. McCowan sitting out the balance of a high sticking penalty here at the start of the third period. Chicago setting up in the power play as Murray has given it to Manson, now into Savard. Kenny Savard comes off the boards, dropped it to Manson, got it right back. Once more for Manson. Lets one fly. It's tipped. Vernon the save. The rebound and the goal mouth. They poke away at it, but can't get it up from under the defense. And the pads of Vernon. Rob Ramage does a great job in front of Mike Vernon after the goalkeeper had made the original save.
Well, they did. It was a good play there. Chicago was a little mixed up how they want to set up this power play. Dennis Savard was right up there at the blue line. He was trying to get in position. But again, they like to get into this umbrella with two guys down there tipping and screening. And a key guy in their power play is Larmer, Stevie Larmer, as he'll come in off that top of that circle into those holes. Ramage was able to control that rebound and get under Mike Vernon. Good play because it was an original 2-on-1 on him down there. And when Chicago was doing that, when that puck is doing the work, they're tough on that power play. But they've just been a little lethargic with that puck this evening.
Look at number 55, Rob Ramage. Veteran defenseman, started his career with the Colorado Rockies, then went to St. Louis. Look right into his eyes, the 30-year-old defenseman. 10 seasons now in the NHL. Joel Otto has been waved out of the face-off circle. Patterson moves in to take the draw against Adam Creighton. Chicago winning the face-off, and the puck came outside the line before Manson could get control of it. Murray just dumped it in, and Calgary takes care of that.
All night long, Calgary's using Otto and Patterson, defensive zone face-offs, big, strong guys. They're able to get it out, and then they counter with a couple speedsters, Joey Mullen and Dougie Gilmore.
And that's Gilmore going for a loose puck, put it out in front of Chevrier, and it's knocked out of the air and recovered by Savard. Savard with a burst of speed, up through center ice, over the Calgary line. Creighton trying to set up a screen, goes to the front of the net. Savard feeds it across. Larmer's shot is wide. Ramage takes it out of the corner and shoots it the length of the ice. 25 seconds remaining now in McCowan's penalty. Over center, dumping it in, the rookie, Jeremy Roenick. There's McGinnis, picking it up and shooting it out of there.
Terry Christmas really using his bench very intelligently. He's using 6 forwards to kill off these penalties, and they're always fresh, and they're moving.
Now Chicago testing them again as Troy Murray plays it in around the boards. It's held up by Vernon. Erzin played it up the boards, but not out. There's Yanni with a pass in front, broken up by Natras, and he shoots at the length of the ice. Games are at 6 aside again. Yanni will touch up, and this will be an icing call against the Calgary Flames. Mike Vernon is tested, but doesn't yield anything, and it's still 2-0 Calgary.
My mom always made me feel better, no matter what.
My mom was easy to love.
My mom used to sing me to sleep at night. Sometimes I really miss that.
My mother's the most gentle person I ever knew. When was the last time you took a picture of your mom?
Your true
Kodak film.
From the draw, the puck comes to the boards deep in the Calgary zone. Chicago trying to regain control of the puck. Now Basson is forced to tie it up on the boards. So they'll face it off again to the right of goalkeeper Mike Vernon. Joel Otto, what a job he has done, both in that series against Los Angeles Kings and again here tonight. Those key face-offs. You pointed out, Herb, both offensively and in the defensive end of the ice. Power play, penalty killing. What a job he has done.
They're very important over 60 minutes and over a playoff series. I watched the matchups here. Terry Chris was saying, okay, you want to go Savard against Otto, I'm going to get him out of there. After a face-off, I'm not coming right back with Dougie Gilmore and Mullen and Patterson. So you want to go speed, I'll go speed with you. You want to go the size, I'll go that way with you. But again, Calgary throughout this game is saying, listen, we're the ones that got 117 points. We're just going to go play, and I'm not going to break any type of rhythm that our players used to over those 80 games.
Saw 26 face-offs in the first period, 21 in the second, and Calgary continues for the wide margin. But Chicago wins this one, and the shot from the point got through. Vernon the save, and he sits on top of the puck.
Dave Manson blistering one from the blue line. Pile up of players. They'll unsort everything. Somewhere in there. 6 ounces of vulcanized rubber that Vernon has blocked successfully time after time. 13 shots on goal now for Chicago.
Well, again, we talked about the depth of Calgary, their forwards and defense, and then if everything fails, they got Mike Vernon, and he's been criticized. He can't win the big ones. You can't do this. You can't do that. I don't know. I like this goalkeeper. His stats show it. And it's also, any goalkeeper would tell you, Glenn Hall, the great Glenn Hall would tell you, it's tough to play goal behind Calgary because they don't give up a lot of shots, and when they do, he's got to stand tall, and which he has this evening.
137 games for the Flames in the regular season, another 8 in the playoffs. About a 2.55 goals against average into this round. Nothing to harm that tonight, and Otto starts out with a pass to Gilmore. It's over the line, gave it to McCowan, centers one in front, and the goalkeeper, Chevrier, spreading out. Just covered the low ice, and bang, there was the puck.
Chevrier made a great save, tremendous save going to his right. He had a deck, but Joel Otto just reached in and got a tremendous pass from Dougie Gilmore. And McCowan looked, he was going to fake. He thought Gilmore was going to the net, but Gilmore held up. And again, the transition. Go from defense and quick counterattack. As James McDonald said earlier, this is a game of action and reaction. Again, win that race to the red line, win the manpower advantage. There it is, the 3-on-2, with Chicago trying to cover up on that. Again, Joel Otto going to net, coming down their right side. And again, Chevrier had a deck to prevent that third goal for Calgary.
Happy trumpeter trying to get things going here at the Olympic Saddle Dome. Winning has become commonplace. These folks are planning a parade. A Stanley Cup championship parade, but there's a long way to go before that. While we have a moment here, our deepest sympathies to the Redmond family. Eddie Redmond, the father of Mickey and Dick Redmond. Dick, a former Flame when the team was in Atlanta, passed away in his home at Peterborough. He was the man who put together the Peterborough Petes in the Ontario Hockey League so many years ago. Eddie Redmond passed away today. Our condolences to Mickey and Dick, and especially their mother May. Funeral services will be in Peterborough on Friday. Now as the puck is played back into the Calgary zone, it's recovered by McCowan. Moves it up the boards. Creighton pinching in. He and Neuendijk tie it up in the corner. Actually, Dave Newell blowing the whistle after Roenick seemed to back away for a moment. Adam Creighton, interesting individual. One of the bigger players in the league at 6'5" and 214 pounds. His dad played parts of 12 seasons in the league. That he's just now reaching the potential that the Buffalo Sabres saw when they made him a first-round draft pick. There's an injured Calgary Flame. That's Mark Hunter. Broke his hand in the series against Vancouver. May be able to play. If this series were to go, say, 6 or 7 games, that cast would be off, and Mark might be back in action. Certainly, he figures if the Flames go to the finals, he'll be ready.
There's no question they miss him. He's a good hockey player. They're out without Gary Suter, and they still keep on going. You go back to Davey, to Creighton. Here's a guy, Adam Creighton. He's big. Don't give up on those big, young guys too early. Let's go back and talk about Peter Mahovlich. How many teams gave up on Peter Mahovlich and what he accomplished over his career. Adam Creighton, as you pointed out, is just starting to come into his own. But he's got to get into the flow of the game and stay in the flow of the game. He can't come out every 5 or 6 minutes because he's just, again, too big, and he just has to have that adrenaline pumping from that first shift. He's been a fine acquisition for Chicago.
Savard got this face-off to Madsen, and his shot blocked in front of the net. Savard gets turned around, and then the quick shot by Larmer went high and wide. Gilbert sets up Savard, puts it in the slot, comes bouncing back toward the point and held in by Bob Murray. Murray can't get through the traffic, and here's Mullen coming down the right wing boards. Over center ice, Gilmore moves up. The pass to Gilmore, he tried to drop it to the line, but Larmer was there. Larmer for Chicago, a long shot steered aside by Vernon. Chicago in the middle of a player change. Calgary sensing that, moved it up the left wing boards and all the way back into the Chicago end, and now Calgary makes their change. Yanni moves it out with a pass to Graham. Oh, nice move around Merzen. Graham from back of the net. Leaves his way through traffic, centered one. Chasing it to the far corner. Roy Murray puts it back in the goal. It jumped over the stick of Dirk Graham. Patterson for Calgary clears it out to center. That bounces off Yanni's stick. He's chased back by Lube, and quickly Chevrier dumps it to forward center. Blackhawks trying to get organized now at their own blue line. This is Steve Conroy. The pass to Thomas. Thomas with a shot that's wide. And again, Chicago in the middle of the change, and Calgary moves up the far side of the ice. Roberts with a pass to Nieuwendyk. To Lube. To Nieuwendyk, and McGill knocked it away. There's Roberts with a shot. Chevrier stretched out to block that. Manson moves it to the right side. Presley feeds it on. This is Manson. The defenseman rushing in. Vernon knocked it off his stick. Recovered by Roenick. Back to McGill for a drive. Tipped off the face mask of Vernon. And Håkan Lube starts out for Calgary. Lube backhands it into the Chicago zone. Presley got back. He sent it over to Manson. Now long pass off Presley, skates at center. Recovered by McGill. He can't get over center ice. Presley is hit hard by Roberts right in front of the Calgary bench. Meantime, the Flames have dumped it down the ice. Yanni got back before it went for icing. 15 minutes remaining in the third period. Calgary up 2-0 as Van Dorp sends Basson over center. It's knocked off his stick. Basson went sliding into the Calgary zone, so Van Dorp has to turn back and now dumps it in. Picked up by Natras, up to McDonald. On to Joel Otto. Otto carries it over the line, trying to move in on Conroy, who got back to check him. Now Otto feeds it to the blue line. That's broken up by Van Dorp, and he deflects it out of play. A little less than 15 minutes remaining now in the third period. Chicago trying to get back into this game.
I'm Jim Martindale, and I'd like to tell you about the Garden Weasel. This 5-in-1 tool makes gardening fun and easy. The 3 rotary blades mesh with the topsoil, uprooting young weeds and creating a beneficial mulch. The Weasel cultivates to a uniform 2-inch depth. Remove the center blade for working around plants and vegetables. Use one blade for hard-to-reach areas. Made of a rust-free alloy, the Weasel is virtually self-cleaning. The Garden Weasel. Look for this display.
At True Value, Ace, Service Star, Sentry, Trustworthy, and ProMart Hardware.
That beautiful piece of sterling silver crafted in 1878 will go to the winner of this series, the Blackhawks and the Calgary Flames, in the Campbell Conference Championship. Trophy named for former NHL President Clarence S. Campbell. This is Bullen with a pass to McCowan, who went off his stick right to Steve Larmer. He got checked by Gilmore, then recovered the puck. It was knocked out of the air by Savard, and he couldn't catch up with it before Vernon had dumped it out. Hanson plays it back and over the line. There's McCowan just working it off the boards, and Bob Murray comes back to Chicago. He's giving it to Manson. To Murray. Murray started the season in the International League. Wasn't called up until late in the year. And has really come into his own, but now offside is called as Gilbert was standing in the Calgary zone before the puck was brought in. Kenny Savard, missing 22 games this year, still managed to pick up 23 goals. An off-year production-wise, Herb.
Well, that's correct, but he's still a guy that makes Chicago go, but he is being held in check tonight by whatever line Calgary's put out there. Generally, they're coming with the Dougie Gilmer, Joey Mullen, and Colin Patterson, and they've just neutralized him. And again, Calgary is doing a very intelligent job in the neutral zone with and without the puck, and they're bottling up Chicago when they don't have it. Chicago, again, they've got to open the gaps a little bit, be a little more creative. They got the speed to do it. And Savard is the guy that can electrify that bench and do something.
Lee Zeidman and Darryl Burnett standing by with Sports Nightly. They'll have the scores and highlights from NBA playoff action. And, of course, all the day's action in the Major League Baseball. American and National League. Calgary with a chance, and they go up 3-0 as McClellan taps in a loose puck. Be Brian McClellan's second goal in the playoffs, and here's another look.
Well, that's what you have to give a littlest guy on the ice now. Fleury, a lot of work for originally setting it up, and again, just some heavy board checking, and Brian McClellan found himself right in front of a wide open net, just buried it. But again, a couple of good hits by Fleury. Again, that set it up, and by Timmy Hunter. And again, that produced that wide open goal. Big goal for Calgary. Up 3-0 now. 13:36 left.
Chicago back on their heels, trailing 3-0. Dwayne Sutter moves the puck out to Conroy. Trying to get it to Creighton. Didn't make the play at the blue line. It comes back now to Manson. Up the right side, and Presley is taken off the puck by Fleury. Fleury, for a man his size, does the job at both ends of the ice. Chicago dumping the puck in. Here's Ramage for Calgary, playing it around to McClellan, on to Fleury. A check from behind, got back on his skates. Tim Hunter picks up the puck. Fleury being tied up by Manson as Hunter dumps it around the boards. Fleury had to try and find his stick. The puck in the meantime is taken out of the corner by Troy Murray of the Blackhawks. Murray overshot it at center ice. Joey Neuendijk has it. He's given it to McGinnis. Up to Roberts, and he dumps it right on target. Johnny back, knocked it away from Lou. It's recovered now by Greg Gilbert. Gilbert, who played only 4 games for the Blackhawks after being acquired from the Islanders, he arrived in Chicago with a broken bone in his foot, reportedly. Seeing duty here on this line with Graham, and they freeze it in the corner and get a face-off from the Calgary end. We pause now for a regional break. You're watching the Stanley Cup playoffs on Sports Channel.
The Smythe Division champion Calgary Flames. They were pushed to the brink by an upstart Vancouver Canucks team. It took an overtime goal in Game 7 to put them in a series with Wayne Gretzky and the Los Angeles Kings. The Flames responded by using the talent and muscle that got them the league's best overall record in the regular season. They crushed the Kings in 4 straight. Now they take on the champions of the Norris Division in an attempt to reach the Cup Finals for the 2nd time in 4 years. The Stanley Cup Conference Finals on Sports Channel.
Game 2 of the Prince of Wales Conference Final from the Forum in Montreal. Tomorrow night at 7:30 Eastern Time. The Flyers up 1-0 over the Canadians. Then Thursday night, Herb and I'll return to the Olympic Saddle Dome for Game 2 of this series, the Blackhawks and the Flames. That game at 9:30 Eastern Time. Check your local listings for the coverage in your area. 3-0. Calgary leading Chicago. Mike Vernon shut out Vancouver twice in the opening round. Has a 3-0 lead to work with here. Get a look at that cast on the hand of Mark Hunter. He loved to be playing. You talk about a fierce competitor. Over the years, I'm sure you've heard a lot about the 6 Sutter brothers. How about the Hunter brothers? Now, Tim Hunter, tough-nosed forward here in Calgary, is not related to that family. But you've got Hunters in Edmonton, in Washington. Now Mark here, out of Petrolia, Ontario, Sarnia suburb.
It's amazing what they can do with a few injuries. That thing just keeps on going, and they got some great prospects down in Salt Lake. One in particular, Wally Ranheim, scored 68 goals in the National League this year. A lot of people feel, Jakes, he should be in this lineup right now.
Yeah, a lot of teams, I'm sure, every time they talk to Calgary, bring his name up in the possible trade. All the talk now about the Soviet players coming over. Sergei Makarov in particular may join this Calgary team next year. Here's Otto moving in, and Chevrier came out of the net, played the puck out to the center ice zone. Matthews stumps it back in.
Talk about matchups here. They'll go with Joel Otto against Dennis Savard. So Terry Chris has the luxury running that Calgary bench to go to any of those 4 lines, and they're multifaceted. They can play any type of game you want to throw at them.
They put the puck to the side of the net. Chevrier steered it aside and went right to the slot. And the Blackhawks able to move it out. Savard got knocked down, and Gilmore puts the puck deep in the Chicago zone. 11.5 minutes remaining in the 3rd period. Dave Thomas fires a shot, turned aside by Vernon. Drayton in forechecking, or Van Dorp, excuse me, and he couldn't handle the puck. Here's McClellan with a pass to Mullen that missed the mark. Manson drops back, he's cleared it out to center. McGinnis got it across to Merzin. That comes bouncing off the glass again as they moved it up around the glass. It came right out in front. We saw that happen in the opening game of the series against Los Angeles, eventually ending up in a Calgary win in overtime. That set up a tying goal to force the OT. Now Presley unloads one wide of the net. Vernon yelling at his defenseman here. Manson puts it back in the net. There's Creighton. Murray comes in off the blue line. Centered one, and Fleury springs Tim Hunter. Hunter cutting to the left, steps over the line. Rolls his way around behind the net. Manson wraps him up. Manson had broken his stick. Went for the body of Hunter here. The puck is cleared to center ice. Anderson, after taking it from Radish, dumps it in. Off the stick of Chevrier. Conroy took the man, Peplinski in this case. Chicago comes up with the puck. And Dorp fed it to Yanni. Three Flames back as Yanni moves in on the right side, trying to go in around, but McCrimmon got forced behind the net. There's Manny McDonald for Calgary. McDonald has cleared the zone. Conroy just dumped it back in. It's brought out by Roberts. Four Blackhawks get back, forcing Roberts to dump it in and hit a broken stick. And Yanni works it behind the net, then he took a hit from McDonald. Here's Conroy moving it up to center ice. Wayne Sutter dumps it in for Chicago. Gilmore back. Gilmore gets knocked down by Basson. Basson after the loose puck, turned it over to Gilmore. It comes outside the Calgary zone. Facing it back is Dave Manson. Now played off the boards at center ice. Troy Murray chases it into the Calgary zone. We have 9.5 minutes to play in the third period. McGill off the right point. Shoots one. That drifted high. Graham puts it in the slot. Here's Troy Murray to Dirk Graham. He shoots just wide. Conroy chases it to the corner. It's knocked away. Held in by Troy Murray. Works it around the boards for Graham. He tries to center it. Hit the back of the net. Recovered by McCrimmon. Throws it up now to Patterson. On to Mullen. Mullen gets over the line. Working on McGill. Tries to cut in. Look at the balance of Mullen. And then Chevrier down. Blocks the puck. And there's no further play. We pause now for a regional break. You're watching the Stanley Cup playoffs on Sports Channel.
The Norris Division champion Chicago Blackhawks. This is the Cinderella team of the playoffs. This scrappy group of veterans and their fearless leader made the playoffs on the final night of the regular season. They knocked off a heavily favored Detroit squad and put the Blues back in St. Louis with tight checking, superb goaltending, and timely goal scoring. They are just one giant step away from reaching the Cup Finals for the first time since 1973. The Stanley Cup Conference Finals on Sports Channel.
We're in Calgary, Alberta, home of the Olympic Saddle Dome, home of the Calgary Flames. Inside this beautiful building, 20,000 plus, have come for the most part dressed in red. Cheer on the Flames. They've outshot Chicago 2-1, 34-17, the total shots. A goal in each period. McCowan in the first, Neuendijk in the second, and now McClellan in the third. Flames in control here. It's Natras with a shot knocked down in front, covered by Chevrier. Neuendijk was right there looking for a second. Chevrier takes a look toward Neuendijk. Says, not now.
Chevrier, any goalie will tell you, leave the shots to me when you're shooting from the point. Defensemen just take the people and get them out of the way. And that's what Vernon was talking about earlier, Jigs, when you said he was talking to his defensemen.
Now they're going to make a goaltending change. Darren Pang is going to replace Chevrier, it appears. In the playoffs, Pang has played only 1 minute. Naturally, no goals against, no shots, to the best of my recollection. 25-year-old, 5'5" netminder Pang goes in to replace Alain Chevrier.
8 minutes, 49 seconds, Jigs. Making a goalie change. I'm going to say maybe this is on the way. Chevrier's had an awful lot of work in the playoffs. Let's rest him.
There's another injured Calgary Flame. Gary Suter, broken jaw, suffered also in the series against Vancouver. Thanks, Gary. The jaw is wired. He's on a liquid diet just now. Really upset with his wife the other night. Big, juicy hamburger. What does he get? Liquid.
A blended hamburger.
He was out skating this morning. Conroy putting the puck in the corner. Basson off balance. Still managed to get it to Troy Murray. The pass out to center ice. And here's McGill with a long shot. Hockey glove save. Not creating anything. And Herb, this is something that will cost them as Neuendijk comes up 2-on-1 with Roberts. Neuendijk shoots. Pang makes the save. Neuendijk centers it across. Here's McCowan holding it in. Lifts it back to the net. Conroy got to it for Chicago, giving it to Bobby Basson. Now to Troy Murray. Next by Lube, and Natras moves the puck neatly to Neuendijk. Back to Natras. Rick Natras fires it in from center ice. And left it. Dave Manson. Now to Dwayne Sutter. Sutter with two of his brothers on hand watching here tonight. Darryl, former Blackhawk, and Brent, the captain of the Islanders. Chicago forced back into their own zone, and a penalty call coming, a collision on the boards. Manson involved on the Chicago side of things. That's Brian McClellan for Calgary. McClellan's helmet came flying off, and up went the arm of referee Dave Newell. They scuffled back to the net. Some heated words are being exchanged by the rest of the players on the ice. 7 minutes and 48 seconds remaining. Chicago trailing 3-0 here at the Olympic Saddle Dome. And they have been outshot, outplayed throughout most of the evening and are trailing by a score of 3-0.
One's blind.
You know, you're one of the most beautiful women I have ever seen.
One's deaf.
He raised his lips. You're talking too fast.
Was there or wasn't there a woman? Fuzzy Wuzzy was a woman?
But their biggest problem
I said left! I said left!
is each other.
I think we lost them.
Richard Pryor.
You mean I'm not white?
Gene Wilder.
Stamp your feet. I'll follow the sound.
I feel ridiculous.
You look fine to me.
See no evil, hear no evil. Rated R. Starts Friday, May 12th at a theater near you.
Dave Manson picked up 352 penalty minutes during the regular season. That wasn't the most in the league, but he's upset with this one. He set off at the 12-12 mark of the third period. And Calgary with another power play opportunity. This will be their 7th of the night.
Well, he took Brian McClellan into the boards quite heavily. Watch him just come across with that left hand, and he popped him and knocked that helmet right off. Brian McClellan, big, strong guy. He's mad now. A lot of people in the league said, don't wake this guy up. He might be one of the toughest guys when aroused. And if they let go, I'm telling you, I'd take McClellan over Charlie Manson any day. And again, here, Nieuwendyk, this is the first shot at Darren Pang right now. And Nieuwendyk just again tests him early. Pang was out, cut off that rebound. Good shot, good save for that first shot against him.
Now Calgary with the man advantage, and Gilmore slams it in around the boards for Mullen. Drops it back to Ramage. Now Mullen went to center one that was blocked. And here's Graham out at center ice. Graham and McGill move up into the Calgary zone. The puck goes to McGill, and his shot turned aside by Mike Vernon. He looks around to see where that play developed from. Mullen clears the puck. McGinnis picks it up at center ice. Over the Chicago line, McGill knocked him off balance. And Yanni turned it over to Gilmore. He centers it out in front. Here's McGinnis. Into the skates of Mullen with the pass. Mullen being watched by Graham. Drops it to Ramage. Now to McGinnis. Fires one. Pad save by Pang. Through a screen, and Pang alertly stuck the right leg out. Calgary sets it up in their own end of the ice. Ramage. Spinorama move, trying to get away from Savard, who had moved in. Now Mullen chased to the corner, puts it back in the net. McGinnis is there. Around the boards, out of the reach of Ramage. Chicago got Calgary hemmed in their own end of the ice here. Wayne Presley and Savard forechecking, but now Mullen breaks out. Had it to the right side. Nieuwendyk trying to get a step on Conroy. Plays it around him over to Mullen, and it hopped over his stick. Presley bangs Mullen on the boards as the puck comes back to McGinnis. He got checked by Savard, but now Nieuwendyk sets up Mullen behind the net to the point for Ramage. Over to McGinnis. Puts it in front. Mullen steers it to the corner. There's Nieuwendyk. Joey Nieuwendyk leads the blue line. Ramage had it slip off his stick, and it went right to Presley. He sends Savard over the line. Savard at the tail end of this penalty-killing chore. 8 seconds left in Manson's call for roughing. And Chicago has been able to kill this one off. The clock, however, is against them. A little less than 6 minutes to play in the third period. 3-0 Calgary. Flames dumping it in. Yanni backboard. Lays it up the left wing boards. Over center ice comes Steve Thomas. Picks up the puck off Fleury. Surrounded by white-shirted Flames, and it's Fleury clearing it down the ice. This is going to cost Calgary. It'll be an icing call as Trent Yanni touches up. 5 minutes and 25 seconds remaining in the third period. Chicago just not able to get any offense generated.
The moment. It is born of the things we live for, and sometimes made of the things we live through. So whether it's the moment you need cash, or the moment you've been waiting for, you can count on MasterCard. In nearly 3 times the number of places as American Express, wherever you happen to be, from sea to shining sea. MasterCard. Master the moment.
Heavy playoff workload. That's one of the things Chicago had prided themselves on, and giving up only an average of 24 shots on goal in the first 11 playoff games. Saw that Chevrier had made 33 saves in this game before being replaced by Darren Pang. Pang has come up with a couple of key saves. Puck behind the Calgary goal comes loose. Creighton chasing it. Adam Creighton into the corner to Dwayne Sutter, and his shot went wide. Held in. No, McGill can't handle it at the line. On it back in. Blackhawks get on side again. And Calgary quickly moving up the left side to Poplinski. Drops it for Otto. Tried to find McDonald moving in, and it's knocked away from him. This is Manson with an outlet. Out of the reach of Dwayne Sutter. Chicago in the middle of the player change. And Bob Murray alertly picks up Poplinski as he went to the left wing boards. And Calgary is unable to come out that direction. Van Dorp in forechecking has knocked it away from McCrimmon. Puts it back to the net. Merson got checked in the corner. There's Fleury, however, with a pass to Poplinski, and the Flames have cleared the zone. Steve Conroy hustles back. He's given it to Bob Murray, now to Bob Basson. Runs into Colin Patterson. Murray with it again. The Conroy jumped over his stick. Jeremy Roenick. There's one high up into the seats. We have just over 4 minutes remaining in the third period. A little something from the Did You Know column for this opening game. It was 101 years ago yesterday, now 2 days ago if you're on the East Coast, that Lord Stanley was named Canada's Governor General. Probably better remembered for the Stanley Cup than anything that he did politically in this country, although neither one of us were around then, I guess, Herb. But
I think our producer, John Shannon, was around.
He may have been. Remembers Frederick, Frederick Arthur, Lord Stanley, very well. Fleury for slashing. It's the penalty at 15:47. Well, we'll see if Chicago can break the goose egg. Sports Nightly, all the highlights and scores of the day in sports. Errol Burnett and Lee Zeidman. Sports Nightly following the Stanley Cup playoff game, Game 1, Campbell Conference, final round. On the power play, Basson is out with Larmer. Looking up the other forward for Chicago. Actually, they've got 3 defensemen. Moving Manson up as the forward. Bob Murray handles the puck. He's given it to Basson. Basson comes off the boards. The Calgary native with his mom and dad on hand tonight. And his pass blocked. So the Blackhawks have to go back into their own territory. McGill starts out with the puck. Over center, fed it up to Manson. His pass broken up by Gilmore. Mullen actually blocked it first, then gave it to Gilmore, who shoots it down the ice. Now Chicago knew they had to get a win here in Calgary sometime in this series if they're to win the round. Felt that tonight might be tonight, but they never did get it cranked up. McCowan in the first period, Neuendijk in the second, and McClellan here in the third. 3-0 Calgary. Presley is chased back into his own end of the ice.
Calgary's penalty killers are fresh, numerous. They just keep coming over the board, so they're making the intelligent change. They're changing when they got something left in them. They're not staying out too long. Just sharing that workload very intelligently.
Robertson, Neuendijk picking up the penalty-killing chores here as Savard overskated the puck, and Neuendijk dumps it down the ice. A goodbye song, a chorus or two being sung by a capacity crowd. 24 seconds remaining in the power play opportunity here for Chicago. 2.5 minutes to go in the third period as the puck comes back along the boards. Handled by Yanni, over to Conroy. Conroy centers one. Yanni in after it. Neuendijk trying to knock it away from him. Yanni managed to get it to the corner for Savard. He can't put it in front of the net. Neuendijk has played it down the board. That kills off the penalty against Fleury. 7 opportunities with the man advantage, and nothing doing for Chicago. Calgary with a similar number of power play chances, 1 for 7. Flames going to be called for having iced the puck with exactly 2 minutes remaining in the third period.
From the start, it was a tough thing for Chicago to get into this flow. They got too many penalties early. They just had to use a small percentage of the bench, and it's been tough for them. But you have to give Calgary a lot of credit. Their line changes, the use of the personnel, the situation they use them, and just how they made that transition. They've done things with the puck, and they've done things without a puck.
Face-off will be in the circle to the left. The Calgary goal, you had a look at Adam Creighton. He'll take the draw here against Joel Otto. And Terry Crisp up and down behind the Calgary bench. They had a long meeting this morning and a tough workout yesterday. They scrimmaged on Sunday for one of the few times this season that they had a full-scale scrimmage. Really, I guess they treated it as their own playoff game during the stretch as they waited for this series to begin after having eliminated Los Angeles a week ago last night. The corner here, Steve Thomas gives the puck to Van Dorp, who went back in the net only to be checked by Gilmore. McGill runs into Patterson, and the outlet pass goes to Mullen. He tries to get a step on Manson, spun away from him. Little off balance. Look at this. Oh, Mullen finally stopped by Pang, and the penalty call against Manson.
What a great effort by Joey Mullen. Unbelievable how he's kept his balance. And here's a guy from Hell's Kitchen in Manhattan, started this game with roller skates. Maybe that's what all youngsters should do. Go play outside and forget the skating. What determination, what balance. Manson just gave him a hook, spun him around. Joey like a top with balance, just stayed with it, fell down, got up. Guys taking runs at him, and he still had a great scoring opportunity.
And Manson takes the penalty. A hooking call at 18:39. What a player, Joey Mullen.
Well, I tell you, he's getting a pat on the back by his teammates there. Down in the Calgary bench, even Terry Crisp came over with a clenched fist. He's enjoyed. Unbelievable. And again, that type of play can inspire so many people. And that's the type of season he's had. That's the type of playoff he's had.
2 years ago, he was the Lady Byng Trophy winner, most gentlemanly player in the game. And he is one of the finalists again this season. They get a shot off the stick, ends up in the seats. Barring any further penalties, Chicago will end this game shorthanded, which is the way they've been much of the game. This is the 8th time that Calgary has had the man advantage tonight. Something that we saw Los Angeles do consistently. Take penalties against Calgary and had to pay the price.
Calgary's discipline has been evident. First game of the Los Angeles series. They said, we've learned a lesson against Vancouver. Take the hit and give a hit, but keep our legs moving. And it's made a difference for them.
Puck tied up on the boards. Face it off in the Calgary zone. The coaching change. Los Angeles now not going to have Robbie Ftorek back next season. Herb, are you surprised at all?
Well, I don't know. I hate to see any coach go through it. Robbie Ftorek will be fine. Whatever combination, it's a hard thing, but you know, Robbie will sleep well at night.
And we hope Terry O'Reilly does as well. Stepping down, resigning the Boston Bruin coaching job yesterday. Nice to see Brian Murray rewarded in Washington after all the speculation that he would be relieved of his duties. He signs a new 2-year deal. Again, Warren Strelo will not be back as the goaltending coach, however.
That surprises me. It really surprised me. One of the best in the business.
Changes around the league. Here's Ramage holding the puck for a shot. Deflected, and Pang made the save off Newendike. Lube setting up the power play. Centers one in front of his block. And Brett Yanni has been able to shoot it down the ice with 10 seconds to go in Game 1 of the Campbell Conference Final. And the crowd now getting ready to let it all out. Mike Vernon will shut out the Chicago Blackhawks in Game 1. He faced only 19 shots, but it's his 3rd playoff shutout this year. And Vernon, now with 27 victories in playoff hockey, goes 9-3 in postseason play here in the spring of '89. Just 5'9", but you see him being congratulated by the Calgary Flames, who have taken the first step toward the Clarence Campbell Bowl and a berth in the Stanley Cup Finals. The final score, is the Calgary Flames 3, the Chicago Blackhawks, no score.
Mercury introduces Cougar XR7. Supercharger. Speed-sensitive steering. Anti-lock brakes. All this and the quality of a Mercury.
Like a Mercury. My dad built me this bookcase. Only if I waited for him to paint it, I'd be in college. So I did it myself with red devil enamel. Great job, huh? Well, actually, my dad's an accountant.
Do it yourself, but do it right. Get Red Devil.
This is not the time to learn that all antifreezes aren't the same. What's in your radiator?
Come on, answer.
If a dream is worth saving, it's worth Kodacolor Gold Film.
The 1989 Stanley Cup playoffs on Sports Channel have been brought to you by Mercury, celebrating its 50th year. By Citicorp, because Americans want to succeed, not just survive. By MasterCard, you can count on MasterCard to master the moment. By Northwest Airlines, serving more of Asia than any other U.S. airline. And by your Toyota dealer. Whatever car or truck you choose, you'll love the quality. Who could ask for anything more?
That's 6 straight victories now in the playoffs for the Calgary Flames as they shut out the Chicago Blackhawks by a score of 3-0 in Game 1 of the Campbell Conference Final here at the Olympic Saddledome. Jamie McCowan scored the only goal of the first period midway through. Then in the second period, it's Joe Nieuwendyk on a power play goal at the 12:02 mark. And in the third period, Brian McClellan from McCrimmon at 6:13. That's all Calgary would need as they outshoot Chicago by a wide margin, 39-19. Chicago, though, with the margin of 1 in the third period, 10-9 shots on goal, but they could never get themselves into this hockey game. In the second period, big goal with Chicago down 2-1. They get caught in the player change. Al McGinnis, the defenseman, with a good pass onto the stick, and bang, Nieuwendyk is headed for the net.
Well, he was. He made an intelligent change. And on the other side, Chicago. That play right there probably cost Chicago this game, even though they weren't really in it. But that sort of broke their back. There's such a long way. And the way Calgary was playing and making a transition into the checking game, that just sort of deflated Chicago.
And a dominating night for Calgary, the way they handled things. Al McGinnis is joining us in our studio downstairs. Congratulations, up 3-0, up 1-0 in the series now.
Well, thanks very much. You know, it's definitely important with the long layoff that we get off to a good start, and we wanted a good first period, and I thought we did that pretty good.
I thought the play in the second period, the pass that you made that we just had a look at here a moment ago, putting it on the stick of Joey Nieuwendyk, certainly there was no mental lapse. You're obviously very sharp. What were you doing during the 8 or 9 days you had off?
Well, we had a lot of good practices. The first of the week we had a couple of days off, which I think helped the team, and then later on in the week we practiced very hard. And, we had a day of scrimmage, and so we kept pretty sharp and worked hard, and I think that was the key to the game tonight.
And a key pass right there, that made it 2-0 when Nieuwendyk put it in. We look at you and we talk about you so much with that big shot of yours from the point. I don't think too many of us have respected the playmaking ability that you have, Al.
Well, you know, once you get a reputation for something, I guess it sticks with you for quite a while, and I'm not too disappointed in it, you know, the shot, but tonight on the power play, they seemed to force us at the point quite a bit, and I was just trying to get the puck in along the net there and hope for a rebound or a deflection.
Al, Herb Brooks here. Do you find yourself not shooting as much in the power play as you did earlier in the season?
Well, the first couple of series, I thought I was having more room out there. Tonight, I thought they were really forcing us, and I wasn't getting the shot off, but I think the power play didn't look as sharp as I hoped it would tonight, but I think the layoff has something to do with that, and hopefully we can work on it tomorrow a little bit and get a little sharper and try and get the shot away.
Well, certainly both teams had a lot of opportunities tonight with the man advantage as Dave Newell made a lot of calls. Thanks for the visit, Al. Congratulations again as Al McGinnis picks up 2 assists tonight. The Calgary Flames have defeated the Chicago Blackhawks by a score of 3-0 in this opening game of the Campbell Conference Final.
The American desire to succeed runs in the family.